pork and beans. Oh, I don't care if the grease ain't burning. I don't care if the food ain't free. I don't care when your ass starts to cooking. I got me a plate of pork and beans. I got me a plate of pork and beans. I got me a plate of pork and beans. I got me a plate of pork and beans. I got me a plate of pork and beans.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, citizens of planet Earth and beyond, stretching far off into the galaxy, as far as your mind's eye and your imagination can take you. Welcome to the Pork and Bean Show, starring Pork Cunningham and Frank Oliver Baines. We're going to introduce you to new thoughts, put questions in your head, and consider things you've never considered before. Where the paranormal becomes the normal, where unreal becomes real, and where love is everything. Fasten your seatbelts and enjoy the ride.
Oh, yeah? Well, me and the Lord, we got an understanding. We're on a mission from God.
Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Hey, so we're live. How do you like that?
We're live on we're recording. We're not live yet, but live is kind of
Well, I'm breathing. I think I'm alive. But anyway,
You're alive. You're alive. Thank God you're alive, man. I was worried about you.
It's alive. I was walking in the graveyard the other night when I came upon a thing. It was a terrible fright. It was the pork and bean show, the pork and bean. It was a big show, the pork and bean. It was
It's a real big thing.
Pork and bean. Ooh, I was talking to Dracula. Anyway, yeah, okay. I'll try to get on our little, see if the Facebook will work today. I think it's going to work today.
You think so?
I got a feeling. I got a feeling deep inside.
I got a feeling I can't hide. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be a good show. We're already feeling the buzz of the buzz. Where did my funny video go?
We're comfortable with the chaos now, so the chaos can't hurt us because we're comfortable with it. I'm not going to put Retzer's name in there because the bum ain't probably going to show up.
What bum?
Retzer.
That is cool, man. That's just if you see him, then you see him.
I said that with all kindness. I said bum in a loving way, of course.
Yeah, but you know we're recording, so people hear this.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I said it in only the best of ways.
Can you see our screen share?
I can. Oh, that thing? You saw that? Okay, we're going to go live, so we should be live.
Go live, man. Go live on Facebook.
It's going to work. It's going to work.
I'm excited. should sing along with it. The only happens when it rains.
Should we ask Carl to come back? Because he kind of got.
You could ask anybody to come back. You can ask that guy, Mr. Giggles, to come back. No, he's good, man. He's got a good heart, and he feels things.
No, I know, absolutely, he does. Okay, Pat McRae's coming in. That means trouble.
I like Pat. He's supposed to be our ambassador for getting people.
Well, he's got to be an ambassador for trying to find a producer. Oh.
He's already helping us get people, man. He's got a heavy burden.
Hey, Mr. Giggly's on.
What happened to my damn thing? The ting thing. What happened?
I think we're live. We're live on Facebook, are we not? I don't think there's going to be as much chaos today because I'm not going to allow as much chaos. I'm just going to start the show, even if nothing's working. We'll just do it.
What do you mean? You got to have somebody to talk to, No. Listen, one of the things we got to do is to stress to stop killing the Sasquatch. Okay, stop killing the damn Sasquatch. Everybody's brother out there killing Sasquatch, and you don't hear about that much. But there's like 2,000 Sasquatch a year get killed by hunters and weird people and military or something. It's just like we got to say something about that. You can't just like have a show and not mention that. Oh, by the way, the insane humans are going out and killing these magnificent humans, these magnificent beings. Well, I think that needs to be said.
I'm not sure if I believe it, but it's possible.
No?
I mean, there's too much greed.
Or even if it was 20 a year, or 5 a year. How many does it take?
Good, but I mean, look, you know how much money it can be going in your pocket if you can prove Sasquatch is real? You're telling me one person hasn't come up with a body or real evidence? It doesn't make any sense.
And if they're killing them for evidence, then where's the damn evidence? That's what I want to know.
Well, they'd be millionaires.
Huh?
They'd be millionaires. We had a guy in Manitoba.
Some research college is going to give money for like a bone sample. That's not going to happen. They might give you $500.
No. We had a guy in Winnipeg, Manitoba, who took a crappy video. Like, this video was horrid. And I think it was some national TV show. It was Current Affair or something like that. Something like that. They gave him like 7 figures just to air this video. And it was crap. It was horrible.
That's nonsense.
What do you think? What do you think they would offer you if you had an actual body or whatever? It's
not about that. Well, okay. Well, that's the report. It's between, the people are shooting Sasquatch. The hunters shoot them. American Indians shoot them. Just old ladies shoot at them. I mean, that's like crazy, man. We got to get the message out there. Stop shooting them. Stop shooting the Sasquatch people. Stop shooting and trying to kill them. You know what I mean? We've already got all the proof that we need to exist. The government knows they exist. The military knows they exist. Most states, like a lot of states, are having endangered species or protected species kind of a thing, So what? And they have stuff on TV like Killing Sasquatch. This was a TV show called Killing Sasquatch.
Yeah, have they shown any they killed?
No, but I mean,
have they seen any? Have they seen any?
No, it's a show.
Have they taken a shot at one in the show? No. I don't know.
I have no idea. I don't support killing Sasquatch. I really high spiritual humans. I mean, I
don't support killing anything.
No, I'm not saying.
There you go.
I'm not saying I support it. I'm not saying I'm totally on board with it.
How's my hair look? Do I look beautiful?
Well, of course you do.
Thank
You're the
you.
most,
Good grief, Mike.
you're the world's most beautiful man.
I know.
I mean, why do you think the world's most interesting man has that restraining order on you?
It's a burden. It's a burden I have to carry.
Can't go anywhere within 2 blocks of this
You want
guy.
to see something really, 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 really super duper uber cool? Look at this. I don't know if you can see. Can you see this? Da, 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 da. This is Deb. Deb gave me this.
Oh wow.
It says, Sasquatch says, when you walk with us, you walk with honor. It's a t-shirt. She gave it to me. I'm not really sure why, but I love her. She's just fantastic. And Deb Matthews is on, she's on the Pork and Bean show. I think her daughter makes the t-shirts, and she's on the Spiritual Sasquatch group.
okay.
The Spiritual Sasquatch, you know, she's been on the show a few times. And
Yeah.
just a barrel of fun. She gave me another little.
She's an admin on the
A little-
Spiritual Sasquatch show.
Yeah, she is. I'm just on the spiritual. Yeah. So
Oh,
she gave me this little thing.
well, wait a minute. Hang on a second. You're doing the Pork and Bean show, and you don't have that necklace and that shirt on today? I mean, what's wrong with you? This is
I'm
perfect.
retarded.
Huh?
I'm retarded.
Well, put it on. We don't mind seeing your bare chest.
Mike, Mike, you're retired.
I'm retarded.
You're not allowed to say that.
Why not?
Well, it's not politically correct.
You can't say that about anybody else. You can say it about yourself.
You can't?
That's my rules, new rules. You can say you're retarded if you want.
Oh, okay. I mean, we all have to follow politically correct in this, right? It's for the good of everybody.
If you're not politically correct, does the Sasquatch die if you're not politically correct?
Hey, okay. Anyway, how about we do one of these?
Yeah. We got
Sasquatch, you want to do something?
Saucy quotes. Yeah, you get Pat to pick up a number.
Hold on a second. First of
Over
all,
to the- over 40, over 40,
let's try to actually do this show right.
over
about you?
40 and under 50, right?
Really? You gonna do it right?
How about, not really, but we're going to try. How about we introduce the show first?
Hello,
That would be
ladies
a
and
good
gentlemen.
idea.
This is the Pork and Bean Show, and
You
I
gotta
am
put the theme song
Frank
on.
Oliver Beans, and this is my astute guest host with the mostest, Frank Cunningham. No, Pork Cunningham. Pork Frank. Anyway, hey, let's start the show. Now that was
my
mine.
Lord.
You do
Now
it
you
the
know
right
why-
way. I did
now you-
it the wrong way. You do it the right way.
Now you know why I can't trust you to do the introduction to the show. Hey, by the way, I think I resolved my voice problems. I'm not going to wear the headphones anymore because I discovered something when I was on a call with my girlfriend.
Yeah,
She had the TV down in the background in another room,
yeah.
and it was like low. And I'm deaf, right? Pretty much. And it was blasting in my ear while I was having my headphones on. So I think it's a headphone thing.
Pat, what are you doing with this web page not available?
I gotta get it off. Hold on.
You got it on screen share. Get it off of screen
I
share.
know. I gotta get it off. Oh, there it is. Okay.
You're funny, you're funny as hell.
Hey man, you can. We can't just let anybody screen share.
Come on, you got it on your app. Why not?
Hey, did you see that I was playing that video of the guys dancing and the cowboys dancing?
Yeah.
I played that. You posted that one, didn't you?
Well, I'll tell you what.
Crazy.
I'll tell you what. You put your shirt on and your necklace. I'm going to introduce the show, and then we'll play the video and do the Sasquatch.
No, this is a precious gift. I don't want to wear it and it'll get smelly. I don't want that.
You guys should have a mail call. Like people. That,
Like a mating call.
no mail. Like on those shows, they have mail that come in every once in a while. They ask
Yeah,
questions.
that's what it was supposed to be, but nobody
We
ever
have
asked
that.
us
We're
any
gonna
questions.
we're
you know?
gonna do that. No, we're gonna do
So
that.
we're faking. This is the fake and fraud show.
We're gonna do that too. We're gonna do it all again. But what we really need is somebody dumb enough to be our producer and pay a bunch of money to do this show right.
You're just
Well,
lazy, man. Stop being lazy. All you got to do is push the button and you're good to go.
okay. Anyway,
Open the show. Say what? Say,
ladies and
say
gentlemen,
what?
I am Port Cunningham. I'm here with my distinguished, honorable guest, co-host, I should say, the world's handsomest man, Frank Oliver Bynes. And this is the Pork and
Hello,
Beans.
everybody.
Welcome aboard, everybody. Hey, so how about we get into a Sasquatch right off the bat?
Sasquatch.
From Graham McSkimming, the book.
That was
gracious
what
enough to
Pat
send me
was
so long
supposed
ago.
to. Pat was supposed to go from 40 to 100, right?
You know, he might get pissed off with me eventually, because if we do enough shows, we're going to read the entire book on the air, and then nobody will want to buy it. But, no,
Whose book is this?
it's a book by Graham McSkimming.
Graham McSkimming. He used to be.
Isn't he from like Ireland or something like that?
No,
He's from Ontario. He's a Canuck.
Oh,
He's a Canuck like me. Oh, look at that! You got orbs or something in your backyard flashing on the. Isn't that wonderful? Oh, that was just coming off your head, I think. Okay, Pat, give us a number between 40 and 100.
100.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's not actually between 40 and 100, but it's.
Well, you told me it was 40 and 100.
Well, is 100 between 40 and 100?
40 and 100. I gave you 100.
Is it between it though? I mean,
Yes, it is.
Oh,
You
Okay.
told me that. 99.
No, we'll do 100
Okay.
because 99 is like a full page. I'm not doing that. Okay, 99 from Graham McSkimming Sasquatch, Wisdom of the Hairy People. These are like downloads from like Sasquatch elders.
it's like a channel, right? They mind speak to him, and then he writes it down. A lot of books are being written that way now.
Oh, this is a good one. And we get to judge people too, which is because I'm not
You
actually.
also got to be careful who you talk to.
Okay, it says, don't let the dumbed down culture of North America rob you of your cultural heritage. Akitats Odin of the E. Takan Tatanta.
Don't let the dumbed down.
What?
Don't let the dumbed down culture of North America
Rob you of your cultural heritage.
Well, that's
Who wrote
pretty
that?
cool. A Sasquatch wrote that.
Some dude called Itikas Odin
Ikikas Odin.
Takan Tatanta clan. And I say
What?
dude with all due respect.
It's a clan. It's a clan of Sasquatch in British Columbia, right?
Really?
Yeah, and then what they decided to do is all the clan members got together and decided to give this guy, a quote. So that's how that book came to be.
Yeah. So anyway, we were supposed to have Douglas Retzer on the show today, but it doesn't look like probably my fault for not reminding him. But I don't see him anywhere. So I guess we're
I
just.
messaged him, but he's not returning the message.
Oh.
Yeah, he's not returning. He's not the return. The return of Douglas Retzer.
Maybe he actually watched the show and now he's boycotting us.
I don't know.
Let me see. Be answered.
He had a phone. He had a phone there. There was a phone there, but it didn't.
I mean, who with even a semblance of common sense would want to come on that show? Not going there. Well, what do you think? Should we get the mailbag going too?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, there we go. That's what we got here. The old mailbag going again.
Oh yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait, hey, Mr. Postman. Hey, Mr. Postman, look and see. Whoa, yeah. Please
Oh my. Guess who's back?
Who, the fat lady?
Edna Ricketts is back.
The fat lady?
No, well, I don't know. Have you seen her? I don't know if
she's the meth lady.
Edna Ricketts says, Mr. Beans, I know you don't want to talk about your tragic affair at the Shady Days Motel, but if you ever do feel healed enough and well enough to talk about it, will you share it on the Pork and Bean Show? That's from Edna Ricketts. She's concerned about you.
What was it about? I was doing something else. Read it
Said,
again.
if you ever feel comfortable enough to talk about the Shady Days Motel incident, will you share
Shady
it as an
Days.
exclusive on the Pork
That's
and
the
Bean
dark
Show?
night of the soul in the Shady Days Motel.
Yeah, but you've got to purge that soul.
I gotta purge it.
Sounds like a horror
But
movie.
there's some innocent sheep and a few midgets, you know,
There are animals involved.
sheep and midgets that may be offended. If you know, I can't just go around saying everything about it.
Sheep, midgets, and women in security officer uniforms is what I heard. You forgot to
Oh,
left that part out. With batons.
Handcuffs and dildo
Batons and no. You see, you can't say that stuff. You always take it too far. You got to.
This is a kid-friendly show or what?
You can't say dildo on this show.
Why?
You can't say it. You can't say dildo.
But dildo is an extinct bird, right?
No, that's the dodo. That's your relative. You birds of a feather flock together.
yeah, I guess they do.
So I was always wondering what the sexual fascination was with a dead bird.
Well, I don't know. What is it? I mean, you're the guys connected to them.
Women using these dodos. So, you know.
Well, now we're on the subject of that. This is a more serious note. Okay. I've said this before. And I'm serious. It's something to do with what happened to me. I've never told anybody this. My wife knows about it. She actually helped me with it. But,
Okay.
I was kind of sexually attacked by a Sasquatch.
No kidding.
I'm not kidding. Happened for
a female Sasquatch.
Not quite some time, but she liked me, and it's just, man, it's something that you don't want happening again.
Was it invisible or was it out in the woods?
What she'd do, she'd stand outside my bedroom and start doing her thing over there. And she would go to work with me, like sing songs, and good grief, it's just ridiculous. I mean, your sex drive would be out the door. Because I guess they can artificially do that.
She would boost up your sex drive
by
like a psychic attack or something, a sexual psychic attack.
I guess it's something that you just don't want to. My wife, she really helped get me out of that situation. I really appreciate it.
Kiwani Lasparadis talks about something like that in his book. So, I mean, they are human. So, I mean, hey.
Well, she would do her thing, and then you'd see stuff in your mind, and I'd go to work, and she would like start this singing or whatever, and I go, oh my God, here I go again, and it just got to the point where, come on, I mean, this has got to stop. I don't want to talk about, all the graphic details, but you can probably imagine.
I'm trying not to.
That's why I'm not saying
Well, look,
anything.
look, for your information, this is not the first I've heard of it. It happens, you know.
It happens. It happens a lot, more than you know.
I mean, it's
Well-
one thing to say you've seen a Sasquatch or been scared by a Sasquatch. It was another one to see you've been propositioned.
Not proposition. She didn't even, she didn't even go to that stage. Just
Yeah.
like this started. It was really, that's the most strangest thing I've ever encountered since
Well,
been doing this.
that's why Mr. Beans doesn't go out into the woods, because as the world's handsomest man, he would can you imagine?
Oh,
That's
all that Mike, all that long hair. Come on, man.
I've had a relationship with a female, but it was nothing like that. It was just basically teacher student kind of thing, but there was all cool, but I guess they're
Stuff
all
happens.
yeah. But like I said, if Mr. Beans got cut loose in the woods, boy, there'd be nothing but
That why
lots of
then
little
you're
mini
saying
beans.
that's why
There'd be lots of little mini
he
beans.
doesn't go out in the woods? Mike is a sexual attractant.
I'm a pheromone.
Yeah, you're sexy beast.
I'm a pheromone. You just stick me out in the woods, you know.
Oh my!
Yeah, the bears go in rut and the elk go in rut. I can't go in the woods anymore.
Yeah, I
You
can't.
gotta sell it though.
I mean,
Sell it like moose urine or something like that.
it almost sounds I don't know. It sounds kind of funny and whatever. Like it sounds weird and out there, but I mean, if you consider that they are people or whatever, I mean, it is possible they could be attracted to you, because I've heard it before. I've heard it from quite a few people. So
Well, the
Yeah.
American Indians had a long history of the abducting females, and
yeah, I know there's the Chehalis Indians up where I live. They have some legends of that or whatever. And well, I guess they're based in truth, though. I guess
could be in some tribes. That's how you got to become a brave. You went out and braved, had a little fling with this
Yeah.
Sasquatch woman.
Well, I went to this one place where the Chehalis, every morning the elders would go out and they would pray at this water place, this beautiful little tranquil place of water. And apparently history says that there was a female abducted there, like maybe 100 years ago or more or whatever. And I guess she was with the Sasquatch for a couple of years, but she got sick, really sick or whatever, and they brought her back at one point. So, but they go out there and they do their ceremonies and do all that stuff at that place. So it's not without precedent. And I'm not even saying that that's what happened in this particular case, but
Well, they had that one guy, British Columbia, got picked up in the sleeping bag, and they carried him for miles, and I guess he got away by feeding the Sasquatch snuff.
That's one of the most famous stories ever.
Yeah, right. I read that a while back. It's
Albert
still
Osterman.
fascinating.
Albert Osterman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I guess, I think though, at that point when he did that, I mean, I'm sure the snuff probably was, I don't think he got away because because they didn't want him to get away. I mean, I don't think that would have stopped him. If they really wanted to stop him, he wouldn't have got away, but they just probably figured, I guess this guy really doesn't want to stay here, so they let him go. Because,
Probably.
But
listen, I'm thinking about. I disagree a little. I'm thinking about sharing this utter failure of a show to all the groups on YouTube that I'm in on Facebook. But I think I'll just call it a roundtable, and I'll just invite people from the other groups to come and watch. And
Well, share it and invite them.
that's what I'm saying. I'll say, I'll call it a roundtable. Everybody welcome.
Yeah, I mean, may as well. Yeah, absolutely. Do it.
Okay, so I'm going to need to do my internet magic for a little while, and I may not be able to laugh at your jokes.
Aw.
You can try to get some groupies
I'll
in.
try not to be funny for a while.
No,
I don't want you to miss out.
The word sucker comes to mind. Anybody's crazy enough to come on this show. Oh, hi Pat, how you doing, man?
Well, look at this motley crew.
Sucker!
Suckers.
Just have a look at this motley crew. The world's handsomest man and two mongrels.
And one of them was sexually positioned.
Well,
Come on, I'm hiding, Mike. Look at that. I'm hiding from you guys.
yeah. I mean, guys, listen. I mean, from my point of view, I'm not making fun of that or whatever, or because a lot of people are very disrespectful. They make a light of it and whatever. As a matter of fact,
No, it happens.
I know. But I was on a show where some guy was trying to coax me into saying that just because he was kind of disrespectful. I won't mention any names, but like I said, once again, they are.
No, but I mean,
people. They're people. So
yeah, I know. If it happens to you, it's kind of not disrespectful. I'm just trying to say what happened.
No, I'm saying we're not representing it as disrespectful. I'm just saying that.
No,
the
I
fact
know.
that they're humans, that it can, it is possible. So that was my only point. I didn't want people to think that we were representing it as a disrespectful thing or making light of it or fun of it, is what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's stories of like women have been raped or whatever, abducted, and they like commit suicide and stuff. It's like heavy duty.
Well, I mean, we read all those stories in the National Enquirer, like I was raped by Sasquatch or something. But who knows how much of that stuff is true? All I'm saying is
probably
that
none of it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the biggest thing we got these days, they try to pin it on them anyway. The government does. They try to pin them. Well, all the disappearances, like rescue. I mean, the 411 series, and everybody's trying to pin all that. Granted that maybe some of it is, Bigfoot, because they've had little girls come back and said a big bear had took them and was telling them to be quiet. So, I mean, a grizzly bear is not going to do that. So that's what the little girl said. Some of them that came back, I mean, and I, my wife has this friend that used to live in Alaska, and his friend was eaten by a Sasquatch, and the only thing left were toes and his boot. Now there is a class called, the Foots call them the Eaters, and I've had some visualizations from them. It's real, all of a sudden I'll just be sitting here and they'll be chewing or doing whatever they want to do to somebody, and you see it in your mind, that type of thing. They just want to kind of do that, I guess. Kind of aggravate you or something like that. And I was this is maybe about a couple of years ago or something like that. I was just sitting around, and then a lot of the visuals come through my mind, and they're real. I see basically humans, they're hogtied. And it's horrendous. And
Why are
it was
you
in a
talking
village.
about this, man?
Huh?
We're trying to get people to stop killing the good Sasquatch, and you're talking about
No, though, but you got to understand, there's good and bad, Mike.
Well, yeah, but all we ever get, the thing is, all we ever get from most of the researchers and most of the groups and most is how bad they are and be afraid and PTSD and all that stuff.
No, well, you're right. I won't say anymore.
Well, I mean, if you have a connection with them where you can read their energy anyway, you're going to know who's good and who's bad.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I shouldn't have said anything.
Well, it's fine. I'm just saying my only.
Well, I know that stuff
only-
is out there, but so is Dogman. But then
the only experience I've never had anything but really positive experience with.
Well, that's good.
I've never had one even scary experience.
I've never had any bad experiences either. Just I've seen them and stuff like that, and they come inside the house. They don't bother us.
No.
Then I'm sure they don't bother you, Brian. I mean, or Mike or anybody.
They've actually rescued me out of the woods. So I mean, that goes totally against the 411 thing or whatever. But that's just my experience. I'm sure there's.
I mean, I don't think a lot of that is just, maybe it's a lot of ET stuff. I don't know. I mean, nobody knows really.
Hey,
look at the ETs. There's like 80% of them are good, and then 10% of them they don't care one thing about anything, and then 10% are bad. But then the whole thing about ETs, everyone thinks they're bad. They're going to try to kill everybody, but that's far from the truth. They've done more healing and upgrading to humanity and opening people up and having them learn psychic abilities and open their heart chakras. All that. The Sasquatch are the same way. 80% of them are going to be good.
I think we have to focus on the positive side of them because that's what this show is about, and because if people want to have a connection with them and get a teaching student relationship and all the beautiful things that they can introduce us to, we don't really want to put out that other stuff. I mean, and also, I mean, I don't know what this clan is all about. Maybe they're just bad regardless, but it's also how you interact with them is how they're going to, if they're dealing with people who are constantly harassing them, putting them in danger,
hey Douglas,
whatever,
what's
they're
going
probably
on,
not
man?
going to react the same way.
Yeah, you're on the ball. I'm sorry, did I interrupt you? I didn't mean to interrupt you. We have a new guest.
I know. I was trying to say that, but I didn't want to interrupt you because I've got manners.
Better late than never.
Manners.
I just.
What kind of manners do you need to eat pork and beans? Just slop it in. That's what you do.
I didn't have manners until this show. I just actually said I think I'm going to be mannerly now.
I just send out 30 different invitations to different groups to come watch the show as a round table, because we kind of remodel it because you're 5 minutes late and we're insecure. So
where did
I get other people bothering us, but I'm so glad to see you, man. How's it going?
Where did Pat go?
Don't worry about that.
Pat left.
I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I just
heard the last minute of his story.
Maybe he's mad at us now. I don't know.
I just saw the last minute of his story. I was getting interested in what he was saying. It sounded kind of scary, but I've only ever had 2 scary experiences ever. So
you have?
Yeah, just 2. That was in 1991.
Hey, I wasn't discrediting.
Give him a formal welcome. Say hello there. Welcome to
I wasn't discrediting what Pat was saying, and I apologize if you think that. All I was saying is that there's too much of that attitude out there. We want to promote Sasquatch as spiritual, highly evolved beings. We don't want to promote them as cannibals or whatever. Even if
stop trying to kill them, for God's sakes. We killed all the Indians off. We killed all the buffalo off. We enslaved the black people and killed everybody. We got to stop this stuff. Stop killing people.
Most of them are vegetarians. Very little meat in their diet, if any. So.
Anyway, Pat, I'm sorry if I offended you. I mean, he's a friend of the show. I hope he comes back. Anyway, Doug, how you doing?
I'm doing good, buddy. I had the last minute. I had to fix the house a little bit. The sun came out, and it was just so blinding coming in the back window. You'd never be able to see me. I'm trying to find something to put up to block the windows out. my curtains aren't dark enough, I guess. Every time I tried to flip the screen on, it's just all white.
Yeah.
I got a little bit darker in here. How you guys doing?
Good. I feel a little bad now that we chased Pat off, but
Aw,
Pat,
that's a good
you know,
guy.
you're not gonna hurt Pat. He's a good guy. He's tough. He's a grown man. All that.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I respect his stories and what he was saying. It's just, you know,
Yeah, I had two bad experiences in '91, but that's the only two I've ever had, you know.
Did you want to tell us those, or are they
Well,
really
I
bad?
have so many good experiences. I'd rather,
Yeah, let's focus on the good ones.
yeah, 'cause
So I don't remember what exactly where we went. I think we had some technical issues, I think, with the last show maybe too. But so tell us, at what age did you get introduced to Sasquatch or this phenomenon, or when did you realize, something's not quite like I thought it was in this world?
I was young, 7, almost 8 years old. I went trout fishing with my brother-in-law, and I decided to walk downstream from the main fishing hole. These are stock creeks, and everybody, you get 20 people huddled around one fishing hole, elbowing each other out, trying to get a line in, and all they do is fight. So I walked away and went downstream about 100 yards and fished the next hole. And said I was about 7.5. It was trout season 1969. So I remember that perfectly. And all of a sudden, I felt something was watching me, you know, and I'm looking at the stream and it got so powerful. I knew something was watching me really close. And I could see the reflection of them in the water, but I didn't have the nerve to look up. You know, I'm staring at this green bush and then this black object behind it. You know, you could see his head silhouette, the shape, but I couldn't make out any features. But I seen it move, you know, and I'm just like, you know, if I could whistle, I'd be whistling right about now. And I'm like, okay. I look upstream to see where everybody's at, and they're a good 150 yards away. And I think it's time I just walk back up and see what's going on with the gang. You know, it's like never looked at them once. And then as I started walking away, I get this, don't be afraid. This is our own. We're always here. And then I just got the picture of him, you know, and he says, we're different, but we're the same. And
Well, are you saying that you got mind speak right off the bat? They just in your mind, they just gave you a little image, and they say, "Hey, we're home. You know, it's our home. No worries."
They were just telling me not to be afraid as I was walking away, and I just kind of relaxed, you know. I just like, oh my, you know, and I'm thinking, did that really happen? You know, because I never experienced anything like that. And I'm walking up, but I'm really relaxed now. And I turn and look, and I see the bush, and there's nothing there. It's gone. You know, it's like, I'm like, okay. And I'm like, wow, that was weird. I'm looking around, you know, because it had to be somewhere close by, but I couldn't see him, you know. And I could see 100 yards in any direction, you know.
And you were only 8?
I wasn't even 8. I was 7. Wow. That was 1969. I turned 8 in October of 69. This was about April of 69. So it was about 7.5. You know?
Oh, what's your birthday?
October 28th. 4 more days.
You know,
hey, does that make you a Scorpio?
Yeah.
I was all excited. I thought I had a fellow Libra here, but you didn't make the Libra club. But
no, you almost made it a little bit.
You almost made it.
I get along good with Scorpio.
I had a lot of girlfriends that were Libras growing up.
We
always got along great.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, we're the scales, right?
Yeah, I miss them though. It's like they all went away.
I am so glad you actually made it to the show, because in my mind it was going like I've been to review the shows. I'm thinking, well, we got some special stuff going on here in the Pork and Bean show, because we do spiritual stuff, you know, and heart centered and all that kind of stuff. And like we had Barry Webster goes out and he prays, you know, and he's had like 130 sightings in 11 years, and he always gets eye shine and you know, the whole thing. Yeah,
I pray daily. I always pray.
Well, there you go. See, there's a connection there. But then when I heard some of your story where you've seen Sasquatch 20 at a time and at least once 50 at a time. 50.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like historic. Okay? Nobody's talking about one guy just walking out of the woods and 20 Sasquatch stand out and say hello. You know, that's like that's off the chain historic, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I have so many amazing stories you just won't believe. A friend of mine I was with last night, he's been helping work on my truck, Lee, and his girlfriend Sue. I took them out last year, first time ever. We saw over 24 the first night, you know.
Holy mackerel.
They were just within a minute or two, they came out. They took to them two so well. Sue's awesome, you know, she's a sweet lady. She has MD and she's disabled and she has a lot of, you know, pain issues and such. You know, she's a sweetheart. Lee's, you know, they've been together for years and they're both wonderful people. They have a heart of gold. They'll help anybody. They'll drop whatever they're doing and help anybody whenever they need it. And as soon as we got there, they came out. One looked over Lee's shoulder. I looked up. It's like, oh, bye. And Lee turned and looked and he was already gone. And they were messing with him, you know, but they kept coming back. And when it started getting dusk and that, we had 5 babies over our heads in trees swinging around, you know, jumping from limb to limb. It's like they loved us. It was really cool.
So
where
are you located again? Where are you?
What's that? Pardon?
Where are you again? Where do you live?
I'm in Northwest Pennsylvania, Venango County.
Oh,
Okay, and give us just to set the scene for the rest of the viewers. Why don't you just talk a little bit like what the countryside is like? Because I know some Pennsylvania's kind of rolly, and some of it's kind of flat. But and then some parts out I think out west and northwest is kind of got hills in it. And
yes, it's all mountainous. They're not huge mountains, but most of them average like 300, 400 feet, you know, 500 feet. But all tree covered. It's all forest. Oil City's where I live, and we're surrounded by woods in every direction, you know. So
and pretty remote.
Oh, we're rural. We have a population of 10,000 people. We're about 60 miles south of Erie on Route 8 and 96 miles north of Pittsburgh on Route 8.
Yeah.
So we're like right.
So you're in prime Sasquatch habitat. They got everything they need, and they've been there a long time.
Yes, they're here year round. They don't ever leave. I've never seen them leave permanently, you know, move around as such, but that's it. They're always around. They're close by.
It's interesting. Some clans seem to be more in your face, like they'll show themselves physically a lot and do a lot of that kind of stuff, like obviously your guys. My guys are they don't show themselves very often. It's more energy and teaching and downloads and that kind of thing. But
I get a lot of that too.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I know.
Man, I'm feeling them now. I just felt the whole wave. Your whole clan just kind of focusing. They're watching you watch us, and we're watching. You know.
Oh yes, they're watching this. They're watching all of this right now. They're all in tune.
Yeah, I can feel them. I can feel the pressure of like. It wasn't just sometimes like one Sasquatch will come. You can feel this is like a whole bunch of them, real soft. But I feel them.
There's a lot, boy. I'm getting so many hard worms, and they're coming. You know, they knew it was coming today. They all were expecting this.
Well, they're concerned for you. They're wondering what in the heck are you doing on the Pork and Bean Show?
Yeah, you kind of drop down in the steam with
you've just dropped down about 10 levels on their.
Then they say, "Well, wait a minute," you know, and it's like this is going to be a laugh. This is going to be so funny, you know. They always are looking for a laugh. People just don't realize they have a sense of humor.
Oh, absolutely. So let me ask you, some people, they'll be on the show and talking to us, and the Sasquatch will be giving them comments or letting them know what they think, right, as it's going on.
Interrupting them, you know, and it's like you try to listen to you guys and then they'll be talking and it's like, well, wait a minute, I can't hear you and them. And it's like, hold on, somebody's got to slow down.
So you have that kind of relationship too, right?
Yeah.
All the time. They interrupt and start talking to us.
Yeah.
People asking me what? I said, just hold on. What? Talk to me. I said, I'm here listening. Will you just be quiet? Listen to what? You know?
So and this is a serious question. It's not like, I'm not going to give, what are they saying about Mr. Beans, my usual thing, but what are they saying to you currently?
Oh, they just love you guys. They just love you guys.
Oh,
man, they do. They know you guys.
Give us some details.
That's something I try to explain to people. Once you meet them, actually meet them, they know you in all the groups. Wherever you go into another group, as long as they're friends and groups together, they know you. It's like, so I pretty much know all the ones in my area.
100%.
No, there's no question
right?
about that. That's why I do honestly believe that if you got a connection with Sasquatch, and you go to a different area, I've been greeted in all kinds of different areas with energy, and some of them may not even like you, or they may not be as friendly or open to human contact as other ones, but they will respect that connection. They'll leave you alone at least.
Absolutely.
They know that you have a connection. So,
and they'll be more tolerable of you, because of that. For sure.
I'll go one further. Is my vision, though they've sort of shown me, is that every single person who watches a Sasquatch video or like programs like this or any of that kind of stuff, all the people who are watching that, the Sasquatch feel them. It's like amazing. There's no such thing as, even the bad videos or whatever. The Sasquatch are there, and they're guiding feelings. How look, there's a lot of people get eaten by sharks or chased out of the water by sharks. You don't have 100 videos on sharks and thousands of people who are fans of sharks. You know what I mean? No, this is completely different. Everybody's getting poked. Everybody going, "What's this about?" And they get kind of brought into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
this is a miraculous thing that's going on here. This is not just the Loch Ness Monster. Well, there's a Loch Ness Monster, but how many shows are there based on Loch Ness Monster? Not even one that I know of.
No shows, just movies. On YouTube.
Yeah, just movies.
Six clips, 7, 8, 9, maybe a dozen. If you're lucky.
Yeah. But we got thousands and thousands of channels dedicated to Sasquatch.
Yeah.
So connections well known to everybody that they like, and like I said, they'll pick you out if they like you. Chances are you're gonna have connect with them somehow, some way.
I'm getting really good energy feeling too.
Yeah.
So do us a favor, Douglas. We're going to get into some of your stories, and get into it in depth. But if they're telling you something interesting, let us know what they're saying.
Okay.
That would be great. If they're saying something like that, I think that would be really kind of like amazing.
What he really is saying is, if they say something about him, that's what.
Laughing.
No. If they but seriously, if they make a comment or something, whatever, it'd be pretty cool to share it, right? Don't you think?
Well, they like your show. They like what you guys are trying to do. They're telling me this. They told me this right away. Like the first time I started watching you guys, it's like they immediately liked what they were seeing. So.
Well, that's because we try to. I think it's because we try to.
They like your mission.
Represent them with respect.
We're on a mission from Sasquatch.
Yes.
See, that's why I didn't want to insult anybody or anything. Because there's always a yin and a yang. There's a positive and a negative to everything. But on this show, I am representing my clan, Clan of RE. I'm representing for my part, and they have given me nothing but love, teaching. Getting that energy like tingling, like and I am going to represent them in a positive light, because there's just too much of that. Even though I'm sure there's truth behind it. There's too much of that negativity about them. There's too much of that they're monsters, that they're cannibals, they eat people. I'm not saying that that's not possible, but I don't really want to focus on that or talk about that.
Yes, a lot of that's just folklore. Old stories.
Yeah, because you look at 99 shows out of 100 on Sasquatch, they're all focusing on, we want to kill them, or we want to hunt them, or they're monsters, or they're animals. Nobody.
They're demons. They're Nephilim. They're dark. What?
It makes me sick. It's like I researched this. This demon. Everybody calling them demons bothered me, because I had a lot of my friends doing this too. I started researching it. I actually contacted the Jimmy Swaggart Ministries, and I read up on Robert Ministries. Honestly, demons, evil entities, and that cannot read your mind. They do
Was
not
he?
have
Was he?
the ability.
How did he have time? Was he in the whorehouse at the time, or was he at his own house?
This is years after that. He had his downslide, and then he climbed back up on his little.
So he
mountain
said,
there.
what did he say about the demon thing? What did he say? They can't be
Well,
in
the
the.
demons, evil entities, and that cannot read your mind. They do not know what you're thinking. If they did,
Oh,
they would
okay.
control the whole world. They could control the whole world if they knew what everybody was thinking. It'd be so much easier for them. But angels, and such good entities and that do have that ability aren't demon oriented.
No, there's no way they're demons. I mean,
Nope.
and here's the creepy pasta thing. The most creepy thing is I never hear anybody talk about Sasquatch as demons or any of that kind of stuff, or any of the fairy folk or any of that. Only people who are Christians. Only Christians do that. I'm thinking, well, there must be something wrong with Christians if they're going around looking for demons all the time.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? What's wrong if that's with your mind telling you what to see?
Insecure Christians, they're insecure. They're not even strong in their own faith.
Yeah.
They have to be. A lot of people don't even know what it is, to be a Christian. It's like your connection with God. I mean, it's a friendship.
Yeah, God is a spirit. God is a spirit, and you feel God, you feel love, you feel openness, nothing, gratitude. And if you're feeling love and gratitude and thank you and wow, that's not a demon.
No, love is the key to everything. In this world, it's the most powerful tool you have in your, arsenal. Love.
Well, I mean, to me, all these religious things or whatever, or ideas and beliefs or whatever, if you stay within the parameters of that box of beliefs, and are not willing to step outside of it, you're not going to, a lot of the learning is outside of that box. So that's what I think that the downfall is, because we don't know everything. We're assuming we know everything. How can we know everything about God? Even if it's written in his book. I mean, so
it was written by man to begin with.
So if you're coming up with new information and good spiritual information that comes from a beautiful source, and you can tell just by the love and whatever that it's from a good source, if you're just discarding that, then you're just doing yourself a disservice. I mean, you can believe in what you believe and still have room for more.
Absolutely.
So I think we have to get outside of our boxes of belief. And
through the heart, anything is possible, my friend. Through your heart, anything is possible.
Okay, Beans is doing something.
That's the talk. That's the talk. It's a heart,
Yeah.
Find your heart, get in your heart, stay in your heart. That's where the connection is.
Don't let anything pull you down.
The voices and the distractions or whatever are in your head. In the heart, there's no mistaking things. There's no conversation going on, questioning things. It's just a knowing and an acceptance and a love.
Right. I've had friends, exactly. I've had friends go out with me that said, "Oh yeah, we believe in them," but in their heart they didn't. They just humored me. And then when they came out, and saw them, they would go in. Some of them went into shock. I'd be calming them down, because they never really expected to see anything. They're like, "Doug, we know we said we believed you, but we didn't believe you." And they're shaking, And I just calm them down. It's like, they're not here to hurt you. They will not hurt you. I guarantee it. If any of them were, ever going to hurt us or any, thing out here, they would let us know. They would warn us, these guys. And they just look at this one big guy come up the road. He's 12 feet, I call him one of the uncles. The uncles, they always go in a pair. They're both 12 feet tall. If you look at them, they stood straight up, they'd be 14 feet. But they're never straight up and down. They're always hunched over, walking, But they'd come up and they just look down. They love girls when I bring girls out and kids. They always come near and watch. They love watching the kids, especially. But it's like they look down at this girl crying and they're just like, shake their heads, and then off they'd go. They wouldn't stick around. They were afraid of scaring them anymore, and I'd calm them down. But it's like the young ones will come out then, and the females, see, they tend to come out the easiest. The males, they're off working, they're doing their thing, they're getting whatever they're doing during the evenings, for the group. They go fishing. They go down to the creek in the state park. They get a lot of their food. But the females and the youngsters, they'll stay up on top of the hill and wait for them to bring it back. You know, they'll interact with us the whole time while they're gone. And it's like when they come back up the hill, you can see them. They'll come up the road zigzagging. This road is over a mile long. It just goes up, constantly climbing the whole way. We're about near the top of it where we park. We park on a dirt road. We don't even have to walk in the woods. You know, we can just come out and wait on the front of the bumper. We sit on the front hood and just wait for them. Within a half hour, they come out and see us. So it's like they know, you know, it's hard for us to get through the woods and such. You know, I'll go out in the daytime and they'll come close and nap, but most of them are bedded down. You know, they don't get up to like 7:30, 8 o'clock. They're starting to roll around. You know, and 5:30 in the morning, they'll bed down. You'll hear them for 2 hours in this valley where we camped, and they'll call out back and forth. I liken it to the Waltons TV show at the end of the show when everybody says goodnight, you know, through the household.
Yeah.
This goes on for 2 hours all over the valley. You can hear them calling out back to each other, you know, back and forth. And then at 7:30, it's like you can hear a pin drop. Dead silence comes across the valley, and that's it. They won't make another sound.
So how close is this to other people's houses and stuff? How far away are you from like where people live?
Oh, this group's like a half mile from the nearest house.
Oh, okay. So people don't hear them other than like people who are out there?
No.
Okay. Because otherwise you'd think, wow, people would be thinking. So it's just basically you have to be kind of out in their area. I get you.
Yeah. They know where it's safe and where they're at. It's, you know, it's right beside a state park. Okay.
Come on.
Yeah. Here comes Pat.
So let me, so while we got a minute, can you introduce you got a dog and a cat back there?
Me, I have 4 dogs running around.
Oh.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Who's the white guy back there on the couch?
Yeah, he came up and sat. Oh, there's Lee. Remember I told you about my buddy and his girlfriend? My buddy just showed up, you know. We had an incident last year. This was a great story.
Does he want to come on? Come and get him to join the screen with us if he wants.
Like to say hi, Lee?
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, he's gonna come over and get on and talk.
Yeah, this is like a round table. Everybody's open. Say hello, you know.
Yeah.
Come on up, Lee. Last year we went up. Me and Lee and Sue went up, and I was sitting on top of the car, Explorer, with my camera, and I lost it. I left it on the roof of the camera when everybody left, and the next day I got up and I says, "Oh my goodness!" As soon as I woke up, I remembered I didn't have my camera. I left it on the vehicle. So it's like that day, me, Lee, we all went back out looking for it. We tried to find it. We looked for 2 days, you know, back and forth. Went through the vehicles. We looked up on the road where we parked. Nothing. Day 3, I'm out 13 miles away working in the few acres I take care of. And they say, "We found your camera. We have it." And I'm like, "Oh, well, you guys have my camera." They just told me. I says, "Awesome." I says, "If you'd bring it back," I'd say. Then I thought, wait, Lee only lives 7 miles away, 6 miles. If you could bring it to Lee and give it to Lee for me, I'd so appreciate it. I thought, why don't you take a little video of yourself for me? So right then, I just forgot about it. 2 days later, Lee sends me a message. All right. I'll let Lee take over from here. Come on, Lee. Trade me places.
How about Lee gets a chair so we can see him?
Swap me places.
I texted him and told him something weird happened. And went out to check my truck in the morning, and that camera strap was over my antenna and laying right in front of my windshield. There's no way that camera could have been there in the previous days. Driving around, that camera was slopping all over the place. It was just sitting right there.
Oh. Wow.
How it got there, I have no clue. It's just the weirdest thing happened.
I'm really glad you came on the show because you know, you're backing up. Let me ask you, you're backing up everything Doug's talking about, right?
Yeah.
People need to know that, because when somebody's having this kind of interactions with Sasquatch, seeing 10 or 12 in a night, and the kids, and going on for years, they gotta know that this is real, and this is not, you're not just making it up.
No. The first night my girlfriend and I went out with Doug, we saw probably close to 2 dozen.
2 dozen, 24. That's a lot.
Yeah. At least 2 dozen.
We had 5 babies over our heads in the trees. Remember?
Yeah, playing in the trees, playing peekaboo behind the trees. They were having a blast.
There goes Tiny Boy.
It's big fun. Yeah. And here's the other thing I want to toss out there, which is, I think, is historic. The 2 people who have the most sightings over time is Doug here, and then that guy Barry Webster. And both of them, this is a common denominator. People need to hear this. Both of them are prayed up.
Come on.
Both people, that means they pray a lot. And both of you guys have an open heart, a good heart, full of prayer. So what's this tell you? It tells you, and people need to hear this, that Sasquatch respond to prayer. Demons do not respond to prayer. The more you pray up, the more you're in your heart, the more you're going to have interactions.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I hope the rest of the researchers and people out there stomping around, that's like a big factor. Be in your heart, say a little prayer, connect, So thank you guys for this confirmation.
Yeah. When myself and my friend up in here have done ceremonies, smudging, rock circle ceremonies, native ceremonies, and whatever, we've had some very amazing interaction. So they definitely like that. They like the heartfelt
They do.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
And they're always willing to help somebody. If somebody's hurting out in the woods, say they're depressed, they interact with them just out of the fact that that they need help. They need something in their life. They need some kind of good energy entered into their life, and they'll come into their lives and start interacting with them.
Yeah, and
so many people get a relationship with them just because of that factor. And then all of a sudden it's like they're so happy. They go from being depressed one week to they're so happy within a week or two, and it stays. It doesn't go away, like somebody that has bipolar, issues, happy, sad, constantly up and down. They're happy. A couple of months later, they're still happy, they're just loving it. They're increasing their knowledge of it when interactions with them, and it just opens a whole new door in their life that they can't deny.
The guys, my guys or whatever, I mean, when they put me in that vibration of love and no judgment, there is no room. I mean, that's where they vibrate the highest of these guys or whatever, or at least the ones I know. So there is no unhappiness. There is no judgment. There is no, it's just, they don't have those lower vibrational things that bring our moods down or our vibration down. So yeah, that makes perfect sense, right, Douglas?
Yes, absolutely. I'm trying to readjust here and make room.
Yeah, that's fine. So what happened? Was there a video on the camera?
Yeah, about a 3-second clip. It showed the tops of the trees in the area we were at. That's better.
Yeah.
And then it swerved from the tops of the trees to this big, giant black eyeball looking in the lens.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She just looks into the lens for me. It was so cute. It was just awesome.
Yeah, it's funny. They can take videos and they can actually put pictures on. They can take pictures from your camera.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they can remove pictures from your camera. They've done that with me about 3 or 4 times. So.
They did it to me after this. I had an accidental snapshot on that camera I wanted to erase. And I went and I hit the erase button for the one, and I hit it for both of them. And as soon as I did it, I didn't mean to do that, and it was gone. And they said, that's okay. You can get more. They just said, you can have more. It's like, wow, okay. Yeah. I didn't worry about it. I didn't get all bummed out or depressed about it. I just said, oh, well. It's like, I'm not here to prove anything to anybody. You know, I don't care who believes me or not. I just want people to understand that they are here. You know, we're not going away. They'll always be here. They have always been here. You know,
I think they just want us to represent them in the best light we can. You know, like people trying to actually represent them as who they truly are, because there's just too much of that negativity and that monsters and all that stuff. It's just
that makes me sick. Every time I turn on a show and they're talking about horror stories and that, I'm going. I won't listen to it. I refuse to.
I'm not saying that, and I'm not even saying that. Well, it depends on the interaction of the people. You know, what were the people doing to cause that too, kind of thing. I mean, there's different factors, but regardless, there's too much of that stuff.
Yeah.
When you listen to that stuff, it brings stuff in.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
It does. It gets into your head, then your fears start. You know, if you're not strong enough to be above it, it'll pull you into their level. You know, and they live in I don't know, it's just a bad place. There's so many people that are hurting in this world, and they're not happy unless they bring everybody else down to their level, and that's all they try to
Misery
do.
loves company, so to speak.
It's like they want everybody to be as miserable as they are, you know.
So that's why I love this show.
Yeah. Well, when you're happy all the time, people don't like that, you know. They don't. Why is he always so happy? You know, it's like, you know.
Or it gets them thinking, why are these guys always so happy? Maybe there's something I'm missing. It could go that way too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The ones that are smart enough to look, you know.
Yeah. Oh, who's the little white guy you got there? Who's that little white dog?
Yeah.
That's Tiny. Yeah.
Looks like a little character.
Another one here, another one over here.
Yeah, Lee has 3 of them over there now. They love Lee to death when he shows up.
Loves to play catch.
No, don't bring dogs on the show, because that's all I want to talk about. love dogs.
Oh yeah.
Are they good buddies?
Dogs. We've had 4 or 5 dogs all my life. You know, I've always had dogs. It's part of our family.
Yeah.
We got 15 dogs.
Wow. Yeah, you told me that. Where I used
you
to
didn't
live,
believe me, did you?
We had 4 dogs and like 25, 30 cats, barn cats.
In my journey to get together with Sue, I mean, the SASQUATCH brought us together. That in itself is just some of the remarkable stuff that they did with us. The energy things going back and forth. I'm not going to get into it. It's just too much. But you know, basically, I've lived in one room, and she's in the States, and so we can't see each other. I live in one room trying to get to the point where we can actually be married and live together. You know, that's just the point I'm at right now. So I haven't had a dog or, you know, for years, and I just really miss them. Like,
I
really,
bet.
What happened to that one little dog that you have on your Facebook page?
Well, I mean, he's still my dog, but he lives with my ex. I see him sometimes, but you know, I only see him once a month or something. It's not like he's living with me, right? You know, but they never forget. They never forget. He just
cute little dog though.
Does a Mexican hat dance every time he sees me.
Yeah.
You know, a little spinning around. And, yeah, he's a great little guy. I call him the woodsman.
Hey.
You know, he knows the Sasquatch up here too. He'll stop dead on the path and look up into the bush and start barking, but his tail's wagging. He likes them. Right? He's not afraid of them.
My buddy dog Ken Hoover, God rest his soul. Ken passed away in 2019 of brain cancer. This black lab would take off when we'd get there. Same group up in Oil Creek State Park. And dog would take off and be gone for an hour or two, just playing. You can hear him barking and running, you know, and he's having a good old time. He don't do that, you know, play with himself. He's up there playing with them at the campsite. You're near. Yeah. He'll refuse to come out.
No question about it. Have you? Yeah, no question. Sorry. Have you heard of Arla Clay Williams?
Oh, yes.
Well, Watto, her dog Watto.
Yeah.
They used to play with him all the time, or her. Watto was a female, I think. Yeah. And
Arla's a very sweet lady. She is a good connection with her.
She's one of the first people, one of my first mentors, one of the first people who kind of guided me the right way as to how to introduce yourself to Sasquatch, you know, respect right off the bat or whatever.
He's in Eastern Oklahoma.
Yeah, but anyway, the point is, you know, they used to play with Watto, her dog, all the time, and she'd be gone off in the woods playing with them, and come back, and you know, they just loved her, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
the thing about them not liking dogs or whatever, I don't think that's true. If they know the dog and the dog is respectable and whatever, then
Yeah.
they love them. You know.
Yeah, they do. They do. And I could see them being annoyed with dogs at times, you know, constantly barking at them, you
Yeah.
know.
I'm annoyed at Mr. Beans because he won't put that shirt on. You have to look. You have to, if you're going to be on this show, you need to wear that shirt and
Yeah, but
and the
then you can
medallion.
only see part of it. You can't see the whole thing.
So what?
Look
Back
at
up.
that. He's got to go in right there. Forest people, International Terminology of Forest people. When you walk,
Terminology.
when
See
you
mine?
walk with Sasquatch, you walk with honor. And
Look
I
at
think
mine.
that's going to be the theme of this talk because
I like
you
that.
know,
I like
Hey,
the
look.
shirt.
You can't see
I like
my shirt. You can just see this guy. See if I can get him walking back and forth. Oh, I think he's going to put it on. I think I've shamed him enough. So,
even humiliated long enough.
so tell us a story. Tell us something.
All right.
Entertain the legion of pork and bean fans here with one of your amazing stories.
All right. Well,
By the way, it's wonderful having you on the show.
thank you.
Yeah.
I had two scary experiences in '91, which kept me out of the woods for 20 years. You know, it's
Wait
like,
a minute. Are we going
I
to
don't
go
want
to
to
story?
focus on these, but that's when I decided, oh, I like your shirt, Mike. That's when I got married, had kids, you know, did the married thing, and then I got divorced, and then I had to go through all these surgeries, and then I had all this free time again. So I got called to the woods. It's just like I ran into my buddy Ken Hoover, and we just started hanging out, and I started camping with him up in Oil Creek again, and made a reconnection with him. You know, that had been, like I said, I didn't go in the woods for 20 years. First night I camped with Ken, we sat down outside the fire on this log about 20 feet away from the fire. So it was fairly dark. And about 9:30, they started coming through in twos and threes. This went on for an hour and a half. We sat there and we counted 35 walk by in an hour and a half. You
Holy
know,
mackerel.
every 4 or 5 minutes, a couple more, 2 or 3 would come into view. And they're just little family groups. They're on their way down to the creek for dinner. You know, they walk by about 12:30 in the morning, 1 o'clock, they'd come right back up. You know, by then we'd be in the tents most of the time. But once we go in the tent, you know, about 9:30, 10:30, 11ish, you know, we'd zip her up. And Ken said, all right, we're in for the night. We're not coming out. We'll let you know if we do. Then immediately they'd come right down into the campsite and start playing with the fire ring pit and playing with the coals. The fire was completely burned away. There was a pile of coals in the ring, probably about 8 inches deep. And they'd have flames going up in the air 3 or 4 feet, you know, and you could see all these silhouettes on the tent with them walking around, their arms hanging down to their knees. That's all you'd see, these huge long armed beings, you know, walking back and forth, shuttling. A little one come down and put his hand on the tent the one night and was pushing on it. You could tell it was a child. It was a very small hand, probably about 5 inches, you know, around, big long digits though, extremely long for the palm size. They had very long fingers, and it pushed on the tent. Ken stuck his hand up to it, and it was almost the exact same size as that infant, you know, the child. And they pressed on each other's hands and held it there for about 10 seconds and then pulled it away. You could see his little frame on the other side, his silhouette looking like waiting to see what was going to happen next. And then he looks up, you know, like somebody came over, and then he just jumped straight up in the air. And then you seen what he jumped into. You could see her arms reach around him and just hug him in, you know. And she was 5 feet wide, about 7 feet tall, and she was big. She just
5 feet
into her
wide.
bosom, around, and waddled away. It was so cute. Yeah, it was just a moment, you know, seeing him join in with his mom, you know. It was so cool.
Yeah.
I'll remember that the last day of my life, you know, that one moment, you know, where that baby crawled into her arms. That was so sweet. Seeing, you could see the love between them, you know. Says, yeah, okay, you're just getting a little bit too close to these human things. You know, we got to keep our distance. You know how it is. You know, they're dirty. You know, picks them up and takes them away. That was my impression of it. Oh, these dirty humans. You know, you don't touch them. It was cute. It really was. That was like a new awakening to me. That point, and it was like I was in. It was like euphoria. It just every night. Same thing. You just when they were around, you just got in this euphoric state of mind. It was so amazing. You just like it's like Shangri-La, you know, from the I can't remember the name of the movie. When they go into the Himalayas and that and go to Shangri-La, the tranquility of it all and everything. That's just the way we felt out there. It's like whenever we got out there to the campsite, you know, the energy coming out of the ground there was so intense, man. You could feel it. You can feel
Wow.
it. It just lifts you up. And that's where I consider home anymore. That's where my home heart really is out there.
Sometimes it's so strong that I literally burst into tears right on the spot, like weeping. It's
Yeah.
so loving and strong. It's just like, oh,
It's amazing.
You just a love that you can't even imagine.
Exactly. Nobody can imagine unless you experience it. You got to be there one-on-one. We can tell you all about it, you know, people, but until you're out there and, you know, give it a chance, you know, it's like you'll never really understand.
But that's what they want. They want it. They want us to be on that vibration and feel that and live that like they
And
do.
not to be afraid of them when they see them, you know.
Because that's where you know, like people say, transcend or conscious shift or whatever. That's what it is. I think is being on or
Fear
the next step is to
controls
be
you.
in that
You know?
vibration and that no judgment, loving thing. That's what they want. That's why they're here. I think, for me anyway.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I feel the same. I really do. And
But tell us some of the stuff that they've told you, some profound things or whatever, or
mostly they kept telling me we're the same as you. We're all the same. You know, the only difference is we live here, you live there. You know, we're old. We forgot our ways. We've staggered. We've swayed. You know, and we're brainwashed now by society and growing up the way we do. You know, we're conditioned from birth. You know, to believe one certain thing or one way, and it just like we're being conditioned from birth.
absolutely
Not to understand any of this.
that's what they told me right from birth. Our parents and our peers are putting up boxes of belief, like, you know, all the magic and the wonder and the innocence is programmed out of us by, you know, right from birth.
Yeah.
So how could we be like that? I mean, that's criminal.
By the time we're 5 years old, we're conditioned so well that there's just no hope of us, you know, getting a connection unless, you know, something happens, you know, something dramatic.
No, because from 5 years old, we were already been saying, "Oh, these people believe in this. We don't like them. This guy's this color. We don't like him.
Fairies
These guys do this. We don't like that. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do that. Blah 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 blah. It's just
and that's all make believe. You know, don't believe that. You know,
conditions piled on top of each other till you're just under a mountain of conditions and judgment.
Yeah.
And so how are you going to get anywhere with that?
After we started, you know, going out up there, we started going up every night then for 18 months. Every night, that's where we were up on that road. We weren't in camp at the campsite. We were on that road till 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning. You know, sometimes 7:30, the sun would come up before we'd come home. We get home and go to bed for the day, get up around noon, you know, and then start our day. But by 5 or 6 o'clock, we were back up in the state park every night, you know, for 18 months.
So this is life changing. Your whole life changed. Everything changed.
It was so amazing. We couldn't wait to get back out there every night. And they were so happy to see us. It was the same for them. They couldn't wait for us to be there. We'd just pull up in our vehicles and they'd come running out to us to greet us. It was just so cool. You know, and they're waiting for you, you know. And then I got sick. I was in the hospital and I had to take a year off. And it suffered, you know. Our connection suffered, but they were always there for me. You know, I always felt their warmth, their love. The whole time I was in the hospital and out recuperating, I constantly felt their love, you know, and I knew they'd be there when I went back. I walked back in, I went back, I had to hitchhike, didn't have a vehicle. I had to walk a mile up this dirt road mountain to get to the camp area and then hike into the woods about eighth of a mile to the campsite. I get into the campsite, and here the tent was destroyed. Everything was soaking wet. The blankets. I'm like, oh my. And it was starting to get dark. It's 7 o'clock, in the summertime, the sun's going down. So I had to start a fire and dry everything out. I would have been sleeping basically on the ground with wet blankets, nothing. So I dried out all the blankets, and the tent was useless. So I made a little bed beside the fire out of the blankets I dried. About 12:30, I got so tired. I says, guys, I've seen a dozen bears lately. Will you guys please watch over me so I can get a little bit of sleep? Laying out in the ground. I don't want any bear coming up. You keep an eye out for me, please. Immediately, I just got this warmth of, just lay down and go to sleep. My heart it got so warm. I knew I had nothing to worry about. I laid down and I was out cold.
Yeah.
At 4:30, exactly 4:30, I sat up and I knew to turn. I looked up on top of the hill about 50 yards away. There was my friend Sings. She's standing. I said, oh, thank you, honey. I love you so much. Thank you for watching over me. She does like a nod, and there's a flash of light, and she's gone. I got up. I was so energized.
That's good.
Pardon?
That's good. I mean, that means you sitting there in bed saw her just go into a ball of light and disappear.
Yeah, it was awesome. I got up. I was so energized. I cleaned up. The camp was totally destroyed when I got there. For the next 2 hours, I cleaned the whole campsite up, burned all the garbage, had everything tucked away, put away, cleaned up, looking great. You wouldn't even know somebody had been camping there, for the last 2-3 months, period. The only thing left, everything was all in a nice little bundle, to be taken back out of the woods. Somebody could take it out.
See, that's the beauty of sharing all these stories because, collaborative evidence, because I could go into a lot of detail about it, but I'm not, this is your show, so I won't, but I just wanted to make the point is, one time I was camping too, and it was bear season, and I'm thinking, where I am, it's very, very easy access for the bears to come down off the trail. So, I mean, I trust, I know they're going to look after me. I feel, because they've proven it many times, but I had that thought. As soon as I had that thought, I got that loving energy confirmation and a mind speak. We're watching out for you, and I felt completely relaxed from that point on. So that's just exactly what you said. So
exactly, yeah.
And I felt everything's good. Yeah.
Yeah, this peace comes over you. You're fine. You don't have to worry at all.
Right.
And then when the opposite of
what is Pat doing? He looks like he was floating around.
Turn this camera off, man. Turn this camera off.
I heard him coughing, and then he disappeared.
Look at, I know he's like.
There he comes.
No, I'm watching a puppy. Actually, she keeps on.
It looked like you were flying off like on your back or something, like you were doing.
No, I got to make sure she don't chew the power cords. She's like all over the place.
I had a dog do that when he was a puppy. Oh, he turned out to be the smartest dog I think I ever owned.
So, Doug, let me ask you this, because this has happened to me so many times. I'm just wondering, because they do different things with different people, but I'm just wondering if this is your experience when you're talking to somebody that they want, that they're interested in, that they have an interest in, just random person you meet. Although I don't believe it's random. I don't think it's a coincidence, but you know what I mean. But do you ever get a confirmation energy, like they really approve, like they want you to talk to this person, or?
Oh yeah. When I bring friends out that they like, I get that feeling.
Okay.
If somebody goes out there they don't like, I get that feeling too. I've had people go out that show up and says, "Well, I don't believe in them." And immediately they told me, it's like, that's okay. We don't believe in him either. It's like, I just laughed and I says, well, that's equal. They don't believe in you. So what do you mean? Oh, they don't believe in me. Well, they don't believe in you either, so, you don't have to worry. You don't ever have an interaction. If you do, it'll be a miracle. I mean, and
people don't have a clue.
When they come out that night, he was always looking the other way, doing something, like he was totally oblivious to every time when they would step out for a moment, it just, He didn't see nothing that night. Everybody else that was there did. There's 4 more of us. There's 5 of us, 6 of us there that night. Everybody else interacted with him, but he didn't see nothing.
Your plan reacts way differently than mine. Like I said, my guys are not, they don't show themselves that often. Like I was already in intense lessons and downloads and all, the teaching experiences, whatever, and plus the heart connection, all that stuff. But I didn't actually see one for like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, sometimes it depends. Some groups, they come right out. They're out in the open. Some groups, even my friendlies, some nights they won't come out, but other in spirit form.
Yeah. Well, plus my guys are also in a place where, there's people all the time. It's a place where people camp and hang out. So they have to be a little more cautious too, I think. So there's just, like safety.
A friend of mine, young man, he's like 17. He lives in a trailer park, but right near the patch of woods, just on the other side of this 6-foot ditch that runs down for when the rain's hard, it washes by. Right on the other side of the ditch is this structure, shelter. He told me about this, and he's seen one out there. He'd seen it several times over the course of a week. So I went up to visit, and I crawled across the ditch and got up on the other side. As soon as I stepped up in front of the structure, a black crow, just 18, 20 inches tall, jumps up out of the structure, and he just looks at me, and he jumps straight up in the air. He doesn't flap his wings. He just jumps, but he literally went straight up 15 feet. He did a twist, climbed another 15 feet straight up, and then he hit the top of the trees. He just glided away. He never flapped his wings once, And the wind wasn't really blowing, It wasn't strong wind at all, barely at all. And the thing just floated straight up like that. It wasn't a crow I saw, There's no way that was a normal crow.
I got a couple comments here. Sky Peterson's, well, actually, I'll do the other one first because Sky Peterson is a question. Anybody know a guy called Mark Roberts?
Mark Roberts?
Yeah, I know him.
Okay, he says they interact with me and my family every day. Cool.
Wonder where he's from.
I see I think he has his own group.
If he wants to come on, are you friends with him? I don't know if I'm friends with him. He could come on and tell us if he wanted. But anyway, we'd like to hear about that. But Sky Peterson says, would love to hear what you guys think about Sasquatch's connection with orbs. I've got some comments on that, but what do you think, Doug?
Well, that's one of their most methods of travel, and it's their spirit, I think the orb is, like you said before on another show, it is their spirit. I wasn't really comprehending this, until recently. And I've seen so many of them. I've seen them go into orbs. I've seen them float out into the river, and then you'll see the orb over top of the water. And then you'll see it exit the river on the other shoreline, and then they're over there breaking mussels open, the clams.
Yeah.
So the whole time, you're just seeing this orb over the water. You don't actually see them, but you see it, exit the water over, floating the whole way, and then they come out of the orb for them. You can see their silhouette, and then they're over there. You can just listen to them break the clams open, the mussels, for the next 2 hours or so, hour and a half. And they come down. They do this every night in Oil City over the summer, looking for the mussels. You can go down at dusk and watch them starting to come down into the river, up and down the river. Like they'll come down in droves. First night I camped about 2 weeks with this group in this one area. First night I counted 7. Second night, like 14 come down. Third night I saw like 40. Literally, they were all coming down.
Did they all turn into orbs and to go across the water?
Not all of them. No, some just waded straight into the water, but a lot of them did. It's like they'd go into the orb form, they'd float out into the water, and then they just maintain that orb. I've seen there's a group of orange lights that runs off the bridge, along the bridge, and you see the silhouette of that, or the reflection of that in the water, the orange lights. I've seen one turn into like an orange orb, matching it identically. It was just identical lightness, the orange. It went out into the water, mingled, molded, blended right in with the other orange light, and then it was like it stayed right there, getting the clams, mussels. You know, I thought that was really cool. You know, it's trying to blend in all the time with its environment, so you don't actually notice them. You know, they're constantly, you know, thinking of that, you know, so they're not noticed. We have a park. It's probably about, what do you think Hassan Park is? About 30 acres, 40 acres? About a 40-acre park in the middle of the city. Lots of big old oak trees on it, and I got a nice track right in it, you know, here a couple of years ago. And then I found a structure I posted on my Facebook last year up there. But it's like they come down through there all the time. We found a nest structure, a big nest up on top of the one hill. It's like a 48-acre park inside the city. So it's like, here, they have a nest right inside the city that people aren't even aware of. It's right out in the open, and people don't even notice it. It's just, they can be so close to people and they don't have a clue, you know? And
I found a nest actually in the my place, you know, which is a park.
yeah.
You know, it's a like a big area. It's a provincial kind of park kind of thing or whatever. But it's but you know, but right in a campground or whatever. But it was it had a little squared off box area with these big logs, and all inside of it were these evergreen branches. And there was no other evergreen branches anywhere around there,
Yeah.
or outside of that circle, and it almost looked like a nest. But I was thinking of sleeping in it myself. But I'll
Yeah.
have to send you that picture. Yeah, I just took that
I'd love
actually.
to see that. Yeah. Yeah. I love how they make them. They're so cozy. You want to crawl into some of them, you know? I
It's
seen
so
one
yeah,
that was
absolutely.
12 feet high, 12 feet deep, and 35 feet long. It was right off of Porcupine Creek. It was one of the scary experiences I had in 91. But it was all made with these gray sticks, old wood. They were woven so tight you couldn't see 6 inches into this structure. You know, it was so thick with woven sticks. And I knew there was one there that day, you know, and I thought maybe if I lean over like and pretend like I see something, I'll get a reaction. You know, them not realize at the time that they knew what I was thinking. I leaned over and got really wide-eyed. All of a sudden, I heard 3 steps hit the ground, stomps. Then I heard a tree explode, and then 3 more steps, and then another tree exploded, and then 3 or 4 more steps, and then another tree exploded. This went on for almost 5 minutes as he ran away. I bet he mowed over 30 or 40 trees. I could hear that every one explode as he made impact. I tell you, I almost peed my pants that day. That was the first scary experience in 91, you know, and they weren't going to hurt me, but they were messing with me. He just said, hey, you came too far, you're too close. We don't want you here. Well, I was more than happy to leave, believe me. I turned around and all I could think was I just want to be walking out of the woods looking at my truck. I started walking back up the creek, 18 inches deep of water, and it's like, I was never so scared in my life. And all I could think of, I just want to be walking out of the woods, looking at my truck. That's all I could think, you know. That's the only thing that was going through my mind. I had this anxiety in my chest, you know. I could feel it. I close my eyes and I'm thinking, I just want to be walking out of the woods, looking at my truck. I got my eyes closed, I open my eyes, and I'm looking down a row of pine trees now, hemlocks. And I'm standing there and I can see the clearing where the sun was reaching down to the ground about 30 feet ahead of me. And I'm like, oh my God, if I look to the left and see my truck, I'm going to dump a load in my pants right now. I slowly turned my head to the left and I could see my Toyota bumper, his tailgate. And it's like, oh my God. I was just in a state of shock. I walked over, unlocked my truck, sat down, smoked a cigarette, trying to comprehend what had just happened. Believe it or not, for 20 years, I thought they wiped out my memory of walking out of the woods, so I would not remember how to get back. That's what was in my mind, you know, what had happened.
Yeah.
I never knew of teleportation. I never heard of cloaking, you know, by them or anything at this point. And then I started reading up a story about a guy in South Dakota and walking behind him and his buddy walked behind this rock, and they ended up in 2 different locations going behind this big boulder. And they realized, you know, they had been teleported. And I'm thinking, wow, is that what happened to me in 91? And then I got this heart warmth, you know, I knew it was acknowledgement, you know, what happened to me.
Yeah.
I never had a clue of teleportation. You know.
And what happens to us a lot of the time when we have time loss and whatever, you know, like,
Yeah.
or what's going on? I mean, I walked into areas that took 5 minutes, and it took me 20 getting out, and you know,
Yeah.
same pace and everything, and you can't figure out where that time went. So
Same.
Right.
I've
but anyway,
left this one
does anybody
area.
else have any comments on orbs before we? I had something I wanted to say, but how about Beans or Pat? Any?
I just had something to say about. Go ahead, Mike.
I had I want to correct you know what I said earlier about Christians. And Andrea Billups, she says, I'm a Christian and I don't think they're demons. I believe God created the forest people. So I think that's true. I think, you know, but the people who mostly say that they're demons are the Christians, but that doesn't mean all Christians or
Yeah.
you know, see it that way, because most people who are Christians, and if they feel love, that's, you know, they know, they love knows love.
Well,
So
I can't
thank
put.
you, Andrea Billups, for that.
I can't put. I can't speak for Andrea Phillips. I mean, I've heard of her, and I guess she's going to be a guest on our show, right? But
Yeah,
I
it's
don't.
going to be a good show.
Yeah,
They
but I don't think.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've ever.
And
actually
Jim
talked.
Silsby too.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever talked, but I mean, but obviously Andrea can think outside of the box. She's not going to disregard something. She's going to consider things, because you know some people will say, well, it's opposed to my beliefs, where other people would say, well, maybe they're compatible. If I, you know, maybe.
I've prayed about them a lot, and every time I pray on them, it comes back. They're the watchers.
Yeah.
They like to watch.
Would you say?
They have free will. You'll have good ones. You'll have bad ones.
Would you say? Would you say, Pat? She's what?
Pardon?
You said something about Andrea. Andrea, you said she's what?
Who, me?
Pat.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean?
You made a comment. She's something, and I didn't hear what it was.
She's gonna be on the. I guess she's gonna be on the show. I mean.
Yeah, with her buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, with Jim Silsby. That's all I said.
Yeah.
Guilty?
They wanted to be on together, so they know each other. What they did, they researched together. She moved to Virginia, first to Kentucky, then to Virginia for another job. They all used to live. Tim, Jim, and Andrea always, they would go to the woods together.
Okay.
And Tim has that land up in Michigan. Me and Robin, when we first met him, we would go up to his land and stuff. We'd just drive up there, and he's got quite a bit of activity.
I just wanted to say something on the orbs, just to close it out, and then we'll get back into Doug, and or just the round table kind of thing. But I think some of the more evolved ones, and I'm not even sure if this was a Sasquatch, but I think it was. But Sue and I have actually seen orbs taking pictures at night. And you know, no coincidence. We said, oh, well, let's take some pictures. Actually, Sue said that. Let's take some pictures and see if we can see any orbs. Because we were talking about some of the orbs that we had seen in Chihuahua. You know, some of the amazing pictures of like the sky is just dotted with orbs. I mean, it's just yeah. And so we thought, okay, let's take some pictures. And you know, there's nothing. Few come in, few more. Then it's just a big dense thing of orbs. But what we noticed, and this was a big lesson for me, and it's really, really important. I've said this a few times, but this is a very important point, is that these orbs, we saw them come in from different points of consciousness or different places and whatever, and they formed into one big entity. Like this powerful being's consciousness was here, there, everywhere in the universe, and it gathered together. And we actually saw the entity there, and then we actually saw it walk off, and then there was like a big face looking. It's an incredible series of pictures. So that says to me that, you know, how they say like God can be everywhere at once, his consciousness, he's just here, there, and everywhere. That kind of reminded me that it was almost like, okay, this being, whoever this is, their consciousness is here, there, and everywhere, and it's coming together.
Yes.
Wow.
Wherever they will.
I'm getting energy. I'm just tingling with energy just saying that. But so that's pretty cool. That's something really to think about, right?
Well, I was just, you
Yeah,
said if we had anything to say about orbs. I don't know if this was an orb, but we when we were in Michigan, we went deep in the woods. I mean, like you couldn't see the hand in front of your face when it got dark. It was just that dark. Well, I was looking over to my right. I saw a light, and it looked like it was a walking light. I mean, it's like walking around. It would pan over and look to see what's around and stuff like that. It seemed really weird to me. And then it was like a huge flashlight. And then it was about tree level, and I think it climbed down and was on the ground looking for something. And I just, to this day, I have no idea what it was. It wasn't humans. I mean, we were like in the sticks, way in the heck out there. There's nobody there. And it just seemed odd to me whether it was an orb or, it just didn't, I can't see a light on a Sasquatch's head, unless they can do that, project a light.
I'd like to interject. I watched an orb outside by the cemetery inside of Willow City for like an hour and a half one night. We saw this white yellowish orb. We watched it for an hour and a half, and then it moved in front of a tree. When it moved in front of a tree, we saw the silhouette of the fellow I was watching. The light was his heart beating in his chest.
Wow.
The orb I was looking at, it was 14 feet tall. He was standing there looking right at us while he stood in front of that tree. He was motionless, but I could see the orb was his heart beating. It was actually beating
Really?
his chest. Yeah.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
amazing. That was the first time I had seen, that first experience. That was 2014 when I saw that.
Go into a little more detail. So you saw his heart was the orb.
Right.
What did you see? Like when you say silhouette, was it like a?
It was his outline. When he stepped in front of the tree, the light created a backdrop. Okay.
Okay.
The tree created a backdrop for the light. You could see him from head to toe. Then when he was facing me, you could see it where the light was actually coming from. It was his chest. And when I focused in on it, I could actually see it beating, the pulsing.
So was he transparent other than the outline and the orb?
No, he was solid. He was solid.
Oh, wow.
He was lighting up the woods with his heart, and there was like probably about 8 or 9 running around him. Little guys, like 5, 6 feet tall. Like I said, he was 14 easy. That was the first 14 footer I saw, as a matter of fact. That's what made this a really special night. I walked around for the next 2 weeks trying to come to terms with that in my head. Like, he was 14 feet tall. I'm just walking around, just walking through town. Hi, Doug, how you doing? He was 14 feet tall, and I just walk on by, in a daze. What? Oh, never mind. I'll tell you
That's tall.
My friends are looking at me like, what's wrong with Doug? It's like, he was 14 feet tall. That's what, and my buddy Ken said he had seen him that tall, and I humored him and said, sure, Ken, I believe you. I didn't really believe him, because I'd never seen one that big, nothing over 8 feet before that.
That big guy, Wadlow, 8 feet tall. They got pictures of him, but I can't imagine anything 14 feet tall. I mean, it must, it's like walking on stilts.
It just leaves your jaw hanging, drop, and you just look with your mouth hanging open, trying to comprehend it the first.
Well, my clan leader's about 12 and a half feet tall, but they got a big red guy up here who's not in his clan, or not in his family, but probably in the umbrella of the clan and whatever, they're connected. And when my friend first seen him, he said, this guy's 20 feet tall. And then he says, oh, maybe he's 12, but I think he's probably about 15, tell you the truth.
Yeah.
This guy is huge.
They never stand up straight. They're always hunched over a little bit, so 12-footer, when he stands up straight, he's easy 14, when he's
there's at least 3 or 4 up here that I know of that are 12 up.
Yeah.
Let me sneak in here for a second, because this is important, because you saw a real image of a Sasquatch with his heart, right?
Yes, it
And
wasn't
his heart was the orb.
flesh.
Okay, well that's just like off the chart. But now we have Sky Peterson saying, I have a video I made in 2007 of their heart lights. I wasn't aware it was Sasquatch when I made it. And then she actually sent the link to that. But anyway, and then she also says later down, she says, some of the photography has faded. It has to do with their frequency being integrated, and the photographs continue to change. So she has a photograph of these orbs. That's why she was asking about orbs, because they're heart light. That's like,
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's a heart light and heart light orbs. And she says that this is from 2007, and the images that she has change in real time now of their heart light. I think that's outstanding.
There's a lot of information there. I mean, that they are that they are heart energy. They that their heart is their center. That's where they, it's so much information. I'm going to try to issue a challenge to Sky Peterson to come on the show. Do you have a link? Are you a friend?
Anything is possible through the heart.
Yeah. Well, it's all about the heart. I'm going to see if I can send her she can come on and tell us in person.
I'm going to get a warm up coffee. I'll be right back.
You got her, man. This show is, hey, you know what? This has been the smoothest show going, so we better screw up something major. Otherwise, it's an epic fail. You know what I mean, Mr. Beans? It almost went smooth today.
Yeah,
I'll be back in 2 minutes with my coffee.
It went directly from complete chaos and disaster to pulled out of the fire. Fabulous.
Yeah, which is, usually it's crash and burn.
Well, like here, I'm just astounded. I'm blown away by this show. And, it's like almost every show, really. But we're talking about historic stuff. I mean, historic, world-changing, paradigm, box smashing, stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sky Peterson says, great show, you guys. But I don't know if I don't know if it's a she or a he. I think it's a she.
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't assume. I don't really know. Sky sounds like I hate for it to be like a
she knows Robin. She knows Robin, or he does.
It's a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put the link in the chat room.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to do right now. Say something smart there, Beans, while I take care of some business. Because
Sky Peterson said she is a she.
Yeah.
Well, she's got to come on the show and prove it.
She can do whatever she wants. She if she wants to be, it's all right. She's already added to the show a lot. Just to have our guests talk about heart light and the orbs shining, and he could see their heart actually beating as a light. I mean, you're talking about Jesus Christ kind of stuff, Buddha kind of stuff here. This isn't just Joe Schmo or Animal in the Woods. This is like really high beings can do this. I mean, and it's like goes into like the sacred and the divine and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that's why people have to hear this positive stuff about the Sasquatch and how high beings that some of them are or whatever, because I mean, their knowledge and their the things that they have to share and the things that they can introduce us to are just like life-changing. And people are, I guess it's where you're at in your journey too, but people really need to consider that, because it's an amazing journey when you actually can approach them with respect and love, and your intentions are good. So,
Christ killers.
What's that?
So the people who shoot Sasquatch are Christ killers.
Well,
I'm just making a joke. That's kind of like a dark joke, But I mean, it's the same kind of mentality. Not being able to see the divinity in front of you, or the grandiose, or whatever, the majesty, or the, not being able to see that and then want to kill it. I mean, I can't get that.
The thing is, a lot of these people are probably very, very good people, but they've just never considered it, that they could be like this. So talking about them in how they truly are and whatever, their true nature, and Some
People
people say,
people
wow,
gotta know.
maybe I'm going to go up there and say hi. I'm Joe Schmo, and I'd like to introduce myself, and maybe things can unravel from there in a positive way. Unravel, I guess, isn't a good word because that's kind of like disintegrating, but things can unfold from there. So that's why this show to me is so important, because a couple of people look at it and they say, well, I'm going to go out there, like I said, and I'm going to have a little picnic, and I'm going to take my drum, and I'm going to sit there and think about them, nice thoughts, and I'd like to get to know you, and some big doors could be opening up for them. So that's the way it is. Where'd everybody go?
Well, it's okay. Don't worry. The people got to do their little business, Don't forget, you're talking with working with older people. They got to pee them more often.
If we got to blackmail people into coming on here, people aren't accepting my invitation. We'll have to.
What are you talking about? You got the best guests. You got the best guests in the world. You're gonna try. You're gonna start seeing somebody else.
Well, that's true.
What happens is you just get excited, then you get greedy.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't have my teeth in yet. Uh-oh. Was I supposed to say that? I won't say who said that. Oh. Well, okay. Well, I guess this works.
Don't worry about it, man. Don't worry about
it. Hey, what's going on with my background? I don't have a green screen, and yet I don't see a lot of that weird stuff going on. It's pretty good.
Well, it's because you don't have your helmet on, your earphones on, and you don't have that put this little weird thing around your head, so it's easier to see who you are now. Yeah, it's pretty good.
How do you like my haircut? I cut my hair right short.
You didn't? You don't have a ponytail? You cut it all off?
No, I'm lying. I have a ponytail. Oh, you can't even see it. No, it's not a ponytail, but it's actually a neat ponytail for once.
Oh, do you have one of those rubber band things?
Yeah, one of these guys.
Well, what's the best show we've ever had? Actually, they're all the best show we've ever had, guys. Every single show we've had just amazing guests. And people, this guy's, Doug saw Sasquatch turn into a crow. That was pretty cool.
He saw Sasquatch turn into a crow?
Yeah, weren't you listening? He went across the stream, went to a little structure, and then saw a crow, and the crow jumped up in the air. Where were you?
Oh, I was probably doing the work that you were supposed to be doing.
You don't remember. That's what happens. So you get excited, and then you can't concentrate. You have to be able to concentrate on what's being said.
Hey, I guess I missed that part.
It was great. It was like the crow jumped 15 feet into the air, did a flip, and went another 15 feet in the air. They went into a tree and then just glided away, and without flapping his wings. You don't remember that part?
No, but it makes sense to me because I know they can shapeshift into all kinds of animals. I've had crows, or I'm not crows so much, but ravens, owls, blue jays, all kinds of. One time there was a golden eagle, actually. That was cool.
Well, you need to calm down. You're overstimulated and focus in on your task, which is to ask relevant questions without interrupting.
Well, which I've been pretty good at today.
You've been very good. Yeah, I'm proud of you.
And the reason why
I'm honored to be your guest co-host.
Well, and I'm honored to be with the world's handsomest man as my co-host.
Anybody would be.
Anybody would be. I mean, it's sometimes I have to wear sunglasses because the beauty just blinds me, but
I know.
Other times when my vibration is high enough, I can coexist with it. Oh, here we go. Who do we got here?
That's Tiny. I'm hypnotizing him.
Hey, and now for the portion of our show we affectionately call Stupid Dog Tricks.
Yeah. Stupid human tricks, more like it. He's got me trained.
Dogs doing human tricks, or dogs teaching humans tricks.
Exactly. It's him controlling me, not me controlling him.
Could you give us could you give us a story about the most Sasquatch you ever saw in one night, and kind of lay out that how that happened? Because I heard it was some outrageous number, like 50 or something.
Well, yeah, I took Lee out and Sue last year. We saw like between 50 and 60 one night, in one night.
That's like more than you can count. I mean, you go 1, 2, 3. That's more than you can count.
Oh yeah, that's just they were constantly coming and going. It's just I think we had like a dozen in the trees, youngsters, that night. Hanging over top of our heads, climbing around the trees. Yeah, which just started out as a normal night. We showed up about 7:30. We'd stay till about 10:30, 3 hours. I think it was about 8:30 that night we started seeing them coming. They weren't right there. They started coming out, which is normal for that time of the year, summertime. They start out about 7:30, 8 o'clock. About 7:30, 8 o'clock, we started seeing their eyes shine coming through the woods in different locations. We'd seen like 6 or 7 coming, and then pretty soon they started coming out, and then the babies come up over our heads. None of them would come to us, though. They wouldn't come out onto the road yet. They usually every night do, but a lot of this is just the females and the youngsters. The males are usually off during this time of the day in the evening. We don't see the males until later on after midnight sometimes when they come back up from the creek. The creek's at the bottom of this road, mile away. This hill goes for a mile. It comes out by the train station, Oil Creek and Titusville Railroad is what it's called. It runs from that train station all the way to Titusville. It goes right past Drakewell Park. That's where the first oil well was drilled, in Titusville, Pennsylvania, many years ago, 1890 something, 1880s. I'm not sure when they actually drilled it, but they run this railroad all summer long. And then beginning of the school year and the end of the school year, they'll run it and take kids on field trips up and down. It's a 2-hour train ride. It's beautiful. That whole way, you're just going along the creek. They're there the whole way. You can see structures the whole way. If you were to ride it, you see the structures all up and down the creek, both sides, up the mountain. You can see structures. They're just from that 2 miles or 2-hour trip. I bet we passed through about 15 different groups at least, for that 2-hour ride, at least that many. There's one area, Miller Farm, that they're there. Everybody that I've talked to says, Dan, we get the creeps when we go through Miller Farm. Just like something's watching us, always, And so I went up there, and sure enough, as soon as I got there, I felt them. I knew they were there. I took the trail up. I didn't ride the train. I went on the bicycle trail. You can ride it. You can go everywhere in Pennsylvania now on bicycle trails. It's awesome. They ripped up all the railroad grades, all the railroad tracks they don't use anymore, and paved a path. Literally, we have hundreds and hundreds of miles of bicycle trails here that just go everywhere. You can go to Pittsburgh, you can go up to Erie, and occasionally you'll ride along traffic routes with cars for a while, but they have a bicycle lane just for you. It's awesome. You don't ever even have to drive in Pennsylvania if you don't want to in the summertime. You can take bicycle to go anywhere. And
Yeah.
we were up there. One night. It was probably about 8:30. I took Sue and Lee up, and they started coming out. Probably by 10 o'clock, we had about 15 to 20 that were in our sights constantly. They were all around us. They started moving off, and the ones started coming up from the creek. They're coming up three at a time, 2 or 3. You can see them zigzagging up the road. You'd see these orbs coming. They'd come up. Some would come up in human or in physical, and some would be in the spirit form. And they just come up and move around us, and then they'd move on up the road. And then you'd look down, and another batch would be coming. It just went on and on. They were with us at one point. We probably had 35 in our view at one point, but total we saw 50 to 60 easy. I don't know how many dozen, that were 12 feet or higher. There was probably at least 8 or 9 of them that were 12 feet or more. Most of the females are like in the 5 to 7 foot range. The children. One night, I always tell them, I pray for your babies. They grow up healthy and strong. I tell them this every night. I'm always praying for your babies that they get plenty to eat. one night I did this. I told him this. All of a sudden, this fog came in and surrounded the road. It was a haze, and within a moment, there was like 20. They told me this. I didn't know. I mean, they were just everywhere. And I go, how many are there? And they said, there's 22. There was 22 youngsters. They're all like around 3 feet tall. So it was from that season, birth season. They had 22 youngsters born that season. So
Do your
they're going to be over 100 next year.
What's your guys' take on? Do they feel in danger? Do they feel like they're being hunted or threatened?
Absolutely. Or I caught feds in there 2 years ago with this group. I was by myself, parked, and I heard a vehicle coming up the road, and I could see the headlights. It stopped around the bend about probably 100 yards away, and the headlights went out, and I'm like, what is going on? This is weird. Nobody ever comes up that late. They always come down the road. This is a bad road, really bad.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to these guys talk for like 10 minutes down there. They're joking around, talking. After a while, I could hear doors closing, and they started it up, and they started back up the road. So I got behind the Explorer, and I'm just standing there watching, seeing it coming. It was a 2019 Ford Econo van, one of those heavy-duty Ford vans, like work vehicle. It was a panel van, no windows. Windshield was tinted so dark you could not see into it anywhere. Period. It was so you could not see nothing. And it was federal government for sure.
How long
they
hang
come
out?
up and they split.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
They came up when they were coming up the road. They're only doing like 20, 25. It's a bad road. Nobody goes that fast. But they slowed down when they got to the Explorer. They were checking me out. They didn't know I was even there. I was behind the vehicle hiding. They got right up, and as they were going by me, I just stared at them. I crossed my arms and just gave them a real mean look. So I knew it was feds. I just knew. They slowed down. I know they were looking at me, because I was only like 1.5 feet from their side door, from their driver's door. And I was with my arms crossed, giving them a pissed off look. Right away, I just knew. They went by. At about 10 minutes after they left, I heard 3 high-powered rifles open up, and it lasted about 2 or 3 minutes, just constantly shooting. I heard probably 100, 120, 30 rounds fired in about 2 minutes. And I don't know what they were shooting at. I don't think anything. I think it was for my benefit because they got caught there. They knew I caught them.
If they had hit one of your clan or whatever, you would have heard about it, though, right? I'm sure they would have told you.
I would have known. Yeah, instantly.
Yeah.
Immediately, I told them. I said, "I'm so sorry, guys. If I'm responsible for that," I said, "I'm so sorry." And they just said, "Don't worry about it." But
that's the problem. That's the problem with sharing with it's a conflict, because on one hand we want to get out the message, we want to introduce people who they really are, and I'm getting that energy like crazy because they want that, but then other bad people see it too, and they disregard all the positivity about it. They just want to, how can I profit? How can I do my nefarious deeds in there? It brings them into the situation too. So it's
ever since they had that show, they put $1 million bounty on one's head or whatever it was, $2 million.
Yeah,
it's been horrible. People are out, money, we can make money on these things. We can be rich just shooting one.
This is the point I wanted to make. In reference to what you're saying is, I can see the government and whatever, and the elite, whatever, the guys running the show, whatever you want to call them, I could definitely see them being very interested in getting rid of Sasquatch and whatever, because they're teachers. They're introducing. Oh man, am I ever getting that energy? Just my whole body. Exactly. They are introducing us to our true nature or whatever, and they are introducing us to connection and the all one. The other guys, their whole agenda is to separate us, keep us apart, right? I mean, it divide and conquer. So I could see the government being involved in trying to eradicate them or whatever, or being interested in it. But as far as like these individual guys that said I shot one and this, I mean, I guess it could happen, but I'm very dubious of that, because the people who would do that have got bad intent.
Yeah.
And bad intent means I'm going to become a millionaire by proving Sasquatch exists.
Exactly.
So, I mean, somebody would have taken a body in or sold it to a TV show for the rights or something, because that part does not add up to
No.
me.
And they're never gonna see no $1 million. You know, nobody's gonna pay them. You know,
Hey,
the
no,
people
no,
that-
no, 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 because there's a show up in, I think it was Current Affair.
Yeah.
There was a guy shot a video, and I mentioned this earlier in the show, from Winnipeg, a real grainy, horrible video of a Sasquatch walking, and you couldn't even really tell what it was. It kind of looks like a pixelated figure. It was horrible. And this guy got 7 figures just to play that video on, I think it was Current Affair, 7 figures. So are you telling me that some guy who doesn't have a heart connection and is like out there for his own whatever is not going to try to sell that body or that information to somebody like that? It doesn't make sense.
Wow.
That part doesn't make sense. But I do believe that people are, you know, like, I can see why the government would be interested in eradicating them or stopping their message or whatever, because it's exactly what they don't want to hear.
They don't want us to be intelligent enough to know what's good for us, you know, and what's not good for us.
Well, they control us by making us think that we're, by all the boxes of, you know, that we're programmed like century after century.
The buzz around, right, is that it's around 2,000 a year get killed by the black ops, military, bad guys, whoever it is.
Wow.
And that's separate from if a rogue Bigfoot goes crazy and tears up somebody's house and they have to send in, you know, the Bureau of Land Management and police and stuff to go in there. That's different than that. That's like a rogue one. This is just going, you know, the military or whoever these guys are, and they're using helicopters, drones, and you know, rockets and all this kind of stuff. I mean, this stuff's got the reason why, one of those things we want to talk about is that these are high beings and they're worthy of being left alone and respected and honored.
Yeah,
not shot and killed.
These people aren't going to respect them and honor them. They're just going to take any information that we give and turn it to their own advantage.
That's not true. The vast majority of people are good people.
No, I'm talking about the guys the guys are hunting them, like, you know, trying to eradicate.
They're hunting them in the shadows, and that's why we're putting light on it. The next question I wanted to ask you was how many, you know, you got such a dense population in like several, you know, a few little hills there. And there's a lot of people I think are really underestimating how many Sasquatch people that there are. I personally feel like there's over 1 million in Canada, United States, and Mexico, you know.
We have a couple thousand in Venango County, easy, you know. Easy.
Yeah, so
easy.
Yeah. And most, you say that most of them are kind of mostly vegetarian, with just a little clams.
Yeah, predominantly vegetarian. You know, it's like the ones that are solely meat eaters, you know, tend to be the meaner tempered ones, you know, that are solely, like I said, you don't see that, you know. Most of them are eating bark, leaves, berries, you know, roots, nuts. There's so much here that's edible that people don't have a clue. You know, they don't. Oh yeah, they think, oh well, there's not enough food for them here. There's not enough. There's 2.3 million deer in Pennsylvania, you know, and I'll tell you what, they only eat the deer. I noticed it seemed like it was during the winter months. That's when they put the pressure on the deer, you know. It's because there's nothing. They don't have the berries coming out, you know. It's like they're limited. They don't have the green leaf growth, the fresh leaves to eat, all the buds, flowering buds.
Do you want to hear a fascinating story that is related to that? This is what a friend of mine discovered. He was up in the mountains up in my area, right at the snow line, right?
Yeah.
And I guess they were up there and they were digging around or something, and he stuck his hand in the snow. He pulled out like a salmon, rabbit, a bunch of different animals that it looks like that the only conclusion, and this is a well-known Sasquatch area, the only conclusion he could come up with is that they were using that as a natural outdoor freezer. They were freezing, like there were some fish. There was like a rabbit. There was different things. Like it was like an outdoor freezer that they were storing it in. Yeah.
That is awesome.
I know. Isn't that amazing?
That's awesome. That is. Down in Horse Creek, that's where I had my encounter when I was 7 years old. I was in there in, let's see, what year was that? About 2013. No, actually, that was before I met my wife. So that was actually 1998. I had to get my years figured out. This was right after I was baptized. I took my brother Mike out to where I had one chase me out of the woods in 91. I just said, yeah. They took my stringer of brown trout and, left me nothing. It's like I had 5 brown trout, beautiful 14-inch brown trout. I stuck them on a sandbar and put a couple big rocks on it. I went downstream trying to get 3 more to my limit. When I came back 10 minutes later, the sandbar was gone. It was crushed into the creek. My stringer was gone. The rocks were like half submerged in the water. So whatever, walked on that sandbar crushed it. When I walked on that sandbar, I didn't even dent it. It was like 2 inches above the water level on the outside of this bend. And I barely dented it, So whatever got on it had to weigh a lot more than me because I was down now standing in 8 inches of water, where the sandbar used to be.
And they took everything?
They took my stringer and 5 brown trout. They left my fishing rod and my creel laying, never touched it. I took my other rod with me with a nylon stringer, and I left all my gear lay there with the trout. So
that's interesting because the First Nations people up here have a history of, like before the white guys came in and Sasquatch said, we're out here, look at these clowns. But they had a history of actually interacting with them and trading with them in some ways.
Oh, wow.
And
it's awesome.
My experience with gifting is very often, and I think that this is a learned behavior from the days when they were trading and whatever, is they will only take half.
That's
they will take half. They will leave you the other half.
Yeah, that's what Arla said. She worked out a deal with them on her property with her garden and such. But no, I felt this guy was upset. I was taking his brown trout because this was his home. And I get that, They stock that stream 2 or 3 times a year, and that's all they put in is brown trout in that stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get that. That's their food source. That's their home.
Well, it was a different situation too. You weren't offering it to them, right? Or it wasn't a trade kind of
right,
thing. But
right. Yeah. I was trying to take some home to eat dinner, with when mom was expecting me to bring a few home, I always did, I came home and said, no trout tonight. That's it. You didn't get any. I says, I don't want to talk about it. I'll tell you later. I just didn't want to talk about it. I was still in shock, from the encounter I had. That was my second scary encounter in 91. My first one was when I was walking up the creek, wishing I was walking out, looking at my truck out of the woods. And 3 weeks later, I went back out trout fishing again, and they took my brown trout stringer and basically followed me out of the woods in a rush. And I thought at that point, man, what did I do to them, man? They're out to get me. I go out in the woods 2 times in 3 weeks. In the first incident, the one ran over all the trees. Second time they took my trout, and it's like, man, I actually thought they had it in for me, so I didn't go back out trout fishing. I stuck to the rivers. I didn't want to go back in the woods for a while, and I didn't go back in the woods for like 20 years,
those cookies with the cellophane wrappers on them or whatever, and then you pull it out and there's a tray with like 4 compartments or whatever, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cellophane, and then there's a plastic tray inside.
Yeah.
Well, this is a funny example of like the sharing thing, right? I had a gifting tree, and they were doing stuff like I'd put an apple in the bag, they'd take a bite out of it, I'd take it out of the bag, I'd come back and it was back in the bag, that kind of funny stuff, right?
Yeah.
But this one really funny thing, I put a box of those cookies in the bag, tied it up, hung it on the tree way off trail, on a little gifting area. And I came back, and I look at the bag, it's still tied up to the tree and closed and whatever. And I thought, oh, okay, they didn't do anything, but something said, look inside. So I looked inside, and I could see that the top of the cellophane bag was like ripped open, right? Yeah. So but the tray and everything was inside it. Everything was in place other than the top was open. So I slid the tray out, and there were, like I said, 4 trays with cookies in it, right? 2 of them were completely empty, not even a crumb. The other two were completely full. And, when it was pushed in, the bag was retied. And
That's awesome. Yeah, they put them back.
yeah.
I'll tell you a story where we go up to the friendly. I call them the friendlies, the only ones that actually come and stand next to us. Me and my buddy were there one night. We just had drinks. We only been there an hour. And I says, wow, I wonder if they'd be interested in sharing some of our drinks. I just cracked open a Mountain Dew. I took 2 sips out of it, and he just cracked open his orange juice and had a couple sips. So we put the lids on, stuck them on my tailgate on the top fenders at the back. And I says, okay, let's take a walk. And say, hey guys, if you want, you help yourself. We'll share with you. Just help yourselves. We'll be back. We walked down the road in the dark. It was probably like 11:30, 12 o'clock, pitch black. Can barely see your hand in front of your face. We're using starlight to see and moonlight when it's out. So we go down the road for about a half hour, 40 minutes, and walk back up and pick up my bottle. And there's about 2 ounces, 3 ounces left in the bottle. That's exactly where I left it. They had taken it, drank all but and left me about 2 swallows. Mike walked over and opened up his orange juice. Same thing. They drank it all but about 2 sips. So it's like we shared with some of them. I don't know if it's the same one, 2 individuals, or they all shared, and sampled it. But that was awesome. Man.
Guys up here like peanut butter quite often.
Yeah.
We've had like jars of peanut butter, and you'll open the lid up, and there is not even a brown smear in it. It's just like the fingers in there, and like they get it all.
Yeah.
Put the lid back on.
Here too, I've left them jars lots of times, and sometimes they take them, sometimes they don't. It just depends. It varies. For the longest time, they wouldn't take anything from me at all, and then they just started taking it and accepting it. I don't know why.
I don't really do the gifting thing much anymore, but I think actually kind of exciting because my friend and I were in the bush about a month ago. And he had another little gifting area that he was leaving stuff at, right?
Yeah.
I've done this for years, but he had just left a bunch of stuff there, a bunch of things like toys and food and different things. And he went up like 2 or 3 days later. Everything was gone. So
wow, that's awesome.
I think maybe I might. And he said, well, we're buddies and we kind of hang together and we're kind of mates and. Connected with the Sasquatch or whatever. So he said, yeah, just go up there and put some stuff up there too. So maybe I'll do that again just for fun.
Yeah. Me and a few friends would experiment and try to figure out what they like. We're trying to focus on things that they want and need maybe. Somebody said they like garlic. They love garlic.
I've heard that. Yeah.
I'm going to try that.
I think they like their people. They'll all like different stuff. Probably the stuff that most of them will like, but.
Exactly. Yeah. My walking stick that I asked for, they gave it to me the very next night. Oh, it's upstairs, I think. Oh, it's there in the corner. I have to take I have some pictures of it somewhere posted. I'll see if I can pull them out and send them to you. And it shows there's images in the wood grain, of several different forest people, different types of faces. It's really neat.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I can get into some interaction stories with you guys. I mean, if you want to.
Absolutely. That's what we want, interaction stories. What my question is a lot of times you're sitting here, I'm just hearing you saying, you're just talking to them. You're talking to them. They're not there. You're just talking to them in the air and they hear you, right?
Yes. They're always listening to me.
And so I wanted to say about that is that there's a lot of people having trouble with Sasquatch. The Sasquatch are throwing rocks on their roof or slapping their thing. And what would you suggest would be, would just talking to the Sasquatch and being, would that work?
Go out and have a verbal conversation with them. First place, if they're throwing rocks at your roof, they're trying to get your attention.
Yeah.
They're not trying to hurt you. They're not trying to scare you. They just want to have some fun. They just want to have some fun with you,
No,
if they like you, if they didn't like you, they wouldn't interact with you at all.
Well, that's exactly true because I mean, if that happened to me, and it does, it's like, hey, my friends are here. Yeah. Other people will like get their guns out and they'll get like they're attack. It depends on how you. To me, it's a greeting. Hi, we're here. It's a beautiful thing. But if you're going to look at it like if you're going to look at it like they're attacking me, and
Yeah.
then you're going to get a different reaction, right?
Exactly. People put up, they're posted on the X's. What do they mean? And people are saying, "Oh, I think that's a warning. Like this is ours. Stay out." And it's not. It's absolutely not. They use them for many things, marking areas for certain things, for directionals. They use them for. It's personal information. They talk to each other with. It announces, who they are and where they are. It's like it's not intended to be a warning, at all. It's not for humans.
Well,
So could you go over
Hold on a
it
second.
again without Brian interrupting, and explain to people that just going out in their yard and talking to them actually works? Can you say that?
That's how we started. Steve Abney told us that. Just talk to them. Just talk to them. Open your heart to them. Let them know where your heart is. Once you talk to them, they'll know you. And once they know you, they'll know you everywhere. So
yeah, I just wanted to make a quick point on those glyphs, though. They are personal to you too. If they are connecting and interacting with you with glyphs, the meaning will be what you think it is and what they think it is.
Exactly.
There's no question about that. So I don't think the glyphs have any specific. They could have a uniform meaning for them maybe, but if it's personal for you,
yes,
it's going to be for you.
They know what is in your mind and what you're looking for, so they will supply what you're looking for. They know what you're expecting, so that's what they'll try to lean towards.
Right.
They'll try to introduce you to new angles of new things to look for.
Right.
I have a time I tell them, I say, "Look, guys, I'm kind of thick sometimes and dense. You got to slap me along the side of the head to get my attention. I'm sorry if I miss something. Just realize I think a lot, and I'm not really looking for things. But if you want to show me something, I want to see, And it was like 2 minutes later, I'm walking back the trail waiting for these castings I poured to harden up, and I see this branch. I might have mentioned this last time. It's 50 feet away, 25 feet up a tree is shaking. It looks like it's in a 60-mile-an-hour wind, going in all directions. It's shaking. Nothing else is moving. So I walk halfway up and I said, "Are you trying to get my attention?" And this little guy, about 60 pounds, swings around the back of the tree to the side, hanging on the branch, and he shakes it twice as hard then. And I just start laughing. I thought it was hilarious. My buddy Josh had already walked by me, and he wants to see one, but he don't really believe in them. They waited for Josh to walk by before they'd interact with me. They didn't interact with him at all. Josh is a little sketchy. I'm not sure if he has ulterior motives, and they know, they know better than me, So if they're not going to interact with them, it's probably a reason for it, I'm just saying, there's some people they'll interact with, and some they don't want nothing to do with. I know, I've seen it, and most of the people I take up there are accepted immediately, So I try to. When I talk to people that want to go out, I want to know what their motives are and ulterior motives. And I tell them flat out, it's like, if you're coming here because you want to get rich off them or you want a trophy, don't even bother. I says, they're not here for our enjoyment,
Yeah.
This is, it's like
nothing makes me feel worse than when I indirectly and I mean, I share so much, but when somebody comes into my area or somewhere and with those kind of intentions, it's like a fine line, you don't know, you want to talk about them, but you also don't want to lead the wrong people.
Exactly.
There, right?
And I've apologized to them if I have brought anybody in and they said it's not you, but thank you. So
yeah. Well,
whenever I take pictures or video, I always have my locations turned off. I never share that information, but I just quit posting stuff.
Yeah.
I was hacked a few years ago, and somebody erased so much stuff. It just broke my heart.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are people in my area, looking around, and there's game cams and all kinds of stuff going on, but it's just kind of more of a nuisance because they don't give them anything really, but it's still, see, then that's when I kind of feel responsible in a way, right? Although
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's directly involved with me, but I mean, I'm sure some of it could be. But
when I saw the
still,
feds that night, that's the first thing I thought. Did I bring them here?
you feel really bad. But
Yeah.
but they want us to talk about them. This is important stuff to talk about. So
I'm
you
I'm
kind of
being
have to put it out there.
I'm being compelled. I want to get a law like Washington has, about shooting them in Texas. I want it to be illegal to harm one in Pennsylvania also. So that's what I'm going to start researching. I now have to get a petition signed, so many signatures for them to introduce it. I have a friend who's state representative. I have a friend that's a senator in Pennsylvania. I'm going to talk to. I'm going to see what it takes to actually get this submitted.
Yeah.
I would love to have it on the books in Pennsylvania that it's a criminal fine and imprisonment, punishment for harming them. I would feel like I've done something,
Yeah. Well,
they have that. I'm
I'm
not
gonna
sure how
do.
many states have these laws now. I think there's a few, like 5 or 6, I believe.
Do you know how I figure out if I'm going to put my socks on or not? You don't sniff
No,
this. Women, that it just turns them off so bad, like they ew. But
yeah.
come on, face it, guys. We all do that.
So do they
But
too.
it smell pretty good.
So do they. Trust me.
Yeah. I mean, Doug, they can take care of themselves,
Yeah.
but you still feel bad because you feel bad when you bring a negative energy into a beautiful spiritual area. Oh man, I'm getting that energy. Like they understand.
They have an innocence to them. It is just so pure.
It's so beautiful and loving and pure and spiritual that you just feel really bad when something negative with bad intentions comes into that area. It's just you feel responsible, right?
You do. You do. There's so many things that aren't even in their vocabulary that they can't even comprehend. They don't understand humans, why humans do what they do. It's like some of the things people do just amazes them that people could actually do that. I mean, hurting one another for no senseless. It's like they don't steal. It's like they don't amongst themselves. They share. The food, everything's shared equally.
Well, I mean,
Everybody's cared for in their clans, in their groups.
I don't understand. I don't understand what people do. So how the heck are they going to understand it?
Yeah.
I mean,
People
yeah. What
can't
were you
get
saying?
along with humans in the world, let alone how they can get along with people in the forest. It's like they want to connect. It's like, man, you gotta be secure with yourself. It's like to really start to understand them. I try telling people once you can let go of all hatred, like even of your enemies, you're supposed to love your enemies, like you love yourself, and that has opened so many doors for me, to forgive everything. It allows me to see beyond my future visions, or my previous visions. I can see further and understand more. It automatically opens up another door for me. It's
Yeah.
like once you let go of your earthly, desires, and desires of the world, and start thinking spiritually and what's really important, you begin to learn. Once you get past that, then you start to learn. You just start to learn. And it's a long time learning. It's nothing you get overnight. It's something that takes a lifetime to master. Some people.
Everything you said resonates so good. Absolutely agree with everything.
It's so simple too. It breaks my heart for people to be so blind sometimes to it. It is so simple. If you lead with your heart, lead with love first and foremost.
You go in your area and you feel that love and that spirit, that energy, and that no judgment and everything, and then you just feel sad. You almost feel sad for those people because it's just like, man, you are missing.
Yeah,
just missing so much.
you do. Absolutely, absolutely do. I do too. I feel the same for them. It's like you're so blind to what's really out there in this world. There's so much to see in this world. It's so beautiful. Man, people complain about the littlest things. It's like, why do you complain? You got so much, and you don't even understand any of it. There's so much here, just walk out and take a look at the world sometime. Just get out, and look at it for what it is. So many people got so much misery in their life that they can't get out of that box. They're in that corner so tight they don't know how to get out of it. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's simple. I used to, when I was a kid, I'd go to the river and just sit, and watch the river, fish a little bit, or just sit there and enjoy it, And I never felt so peaceful and so at home in my life. And I always do. When I lived in the woods, I lived 5 months with 3 different groups, constant. Stayed with one group 2.5 months, another group 2 weeks, and about another 2 months, a little over 2 months in another group. And rains hit, and I just couldn't camp any longer. It rained for like 5 days, and I had enough. I was soaked through, and I was shriveled up, and I just couldn't. I couldn't get dry or stay dry anymore. It was just too bad. Winds were blowing 40 miles an hour constantly for 2 days to these storms, and I said, I think I'm done this year. I packed it up and moved in with a friend, and just got back.
Did you go out? Would you just go into town for food and that was it?
Yeah, supplies, whatever I needed. About every 3 or 4 days, I would go in and get some things because I didn't have any way to keep,
How many months did you say? 4 months? You did that 4 months straight?
Almost 5.
Oh, that's got to do you good.
Oh, I slept like a baby every night. I never slept so good. I come back here and I'm back inside and I sleep maybe 2 hours a day. I'm lucky. If I get 2 hours of sleep, I'm doing good.
Yeah, me too.
I fell asleep earlier. I was tired. Woke up and I says, oh my, I think I overslept. And it was like about a little bit after 12. I says, yep. I looked, I saw you guys were sending me messages, and it's like I had the sun coming through the window. I tried to see if I could get on, and it was so bright in here, you wouldn't be able to see nothing but sunlight. So I had to block the windows up and get it dark where you could actually see me.
Yeah, you're going to have to listen to the replay of the show. We were slamming you pretty good at the beginning.
Well, yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
We're saying, who is this guy, man? This guy, you can't rely on him,
I stood up for you, though.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
I was the one who stood up for him. I said he's listening,
I'll tell you how I met Sings. November 10th, 2014. I think I did share this story with you, part of it. We'd been there like about probably 3 hours. It'd been raining the whole time. It was like 39 degrees out. We were soaked to the bone, but they were coming out all around us, coming and going, walking out of the woods to visit for a minute, and they'd walk back into the woods. And it's like, didn't see anything for about an hour, and we're shivering, cold. And I kept thinking, man, I wish one of you would just share your body heat with me, come out and warm me up, and I kept thinking this. After 3 times, 4 times of thinking this, she comes waddling down the road in a run. She comes right up to me, and I'm like in shock almost, like, wow, where'd this come from? She just comes running right to me. They come, but they don't come like that, It's like I just froze, like, whoa, I put my arms out. She stood beside me for a moment. I closed my eyes. I could feel the heat come out of her into me from my left side, move right through my body, and I became instantly warm to the core. I could feel my heart warm up. My core just got so warm, and I felt so much love from her. I looked at her and I said, oh, thank you so much. I love you so much. She looked at me all twinkly eyed, big black eyes. They're about 18 inches apart on her head. They're huge. She turns back up the road. She goes, disappeared. I looked at my friends. They're standing there wide eyed, jaws hanging open, like, what just happened? And I said, boy, am I warm now. I unzippered my coat, stood there. It's like they're all shivering still. I said, here's the keys. Get in the truck and start it up. Get warm. I said, we're going to be here a while. I just laughed. I said, I turned around. She's coming back down the road to me. This time she stops about 12 feet from me. I'm looking at her like all excited, like, what are you going to do now? I go to walk towards her. As soon as I start taking a step, she turns around and is gone back up the road, man. In about 2 seconds, she's out of sight. 2 seconds. I'm like, oh my God, wow. And then here she comes back down the road again, waddling right to me. She comes down to like 12 feet away again and stops and looks at me. So I look at her and I give her a grin, you know, smiling, and she looks at me just intently. So I go to walk towards her and she just like crouches down and looks. And I started walking towards her again. I get about halfway through my step. She's 12 feet away, okay? She comes all the way to me, turns around, goes back to where she started, comes to me again, turns around and goes back and turns around as my foot just hits the ground, the first step. She covered that 12 feet 4 times in the time it took me to make one step. And I'm just looking at her like, oh my God. I went, wow. She goes right back at me. Wow. You know, mimicked me identical, you know, every motion. You know? She just like, I just started laughing. So I just put my arms out like this and I start walking towards her. She does the same. We walked up and we put our arms around each other. We hugged, but we did not
Wow.
make physical contact. We kept an inch apart from each other because we were kind of nervous, both of us, you know, but we stood there for about 10 seconds and then we let go and we looked at each other and she looked at me so lovingly, you know. I go, I love you so much, I said to her. And she just like tilted her head, like, you know, she told me back in the same, you know, instant, you know, how much she cared for me, you know, and it's like,
Wow.
she just, from that point on, we've been best friends. You know, it's like she looked at me one last time and she waddled up the road, took off. You know, I turned around and looked at my friends again who are just totally blown away by this now. You know, they don't know what to think. You know, it's like everybody there was going into shock, but me, you know, I was in a euphoric state, just total euphoria. It's like a dream state, but it's a blissful, so peaceful, loving state of mind. It's like you can't explain it. It's something you have to really feel to totally understand it.
So just clarify this. You were actually hugging her in the physical.
Yes, absolutely.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Unbelievable. That's
yeah.
beautiful.
I don't know anybody that can say that, you know, that has actually gotten a hug from one, you know, that showed that much affection. You know, it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it warmed my heart so much. It just shows, you know, how capable they really are, you know?
Yeah. Well, I
Just
mean,
like us.
my dream one day is to sit around and talk to them just in a circle, like friends.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, you know, you've kind of already,
We hang at
yeah,
times. Yeah, yeah.
I
They
mean,
they know that they're welcome to my fire anytime is what I've
absolutely.
told them. You know?
That's great stuff, man.
Yeah. I feel so at home with them. I feel
Yeah. Something for everyone
You're
to
a
aspire,
blessed man. You're blessed, Douglas.
oh, I
something
know.
for everyone to aspire to. I mean, that is, like I said, that's what I would like to do. And I'm grateful for everything I've experienced so far. It's like miraculous. So,
I know.
but my end goal would be to one-on-one. Hi, how are you? Shake a hand, hug, sit down and talk.
Yeah.
That's man, that Douglas. That's beautiful.
Well, thanks, brother. Man, I would love you guys to come out sometime and meet my group. I'd
I
love
might
to
just
know
do
you.
it.
Well, if I'm ever allowed back in your country again,
Yes. I'm gonna come out there one day, you know. So my
yeah.
son graduates next year. We plan on doing a little traveling. So
Yeah.
Hey, I got a question off topic, but it relates to the orbs and some of the other paranormal stuff. Since you spend a lot of time out at night, what's the story? And I know that Pennsylvania and up there and New York actually are UFO hotspots. I was just wondering if you have any UFO stories because I think there's a connection. Actually, there's a really strong connection between the Sasquatch and UFO people.
I've seen a lot of UFOs. About 2 months ago, I seen like 5 over the course of 4 or 5 days. Every night I'd see a few. Same ones, orange and red lights. Looked like the orange light was above the red light. The red light was bigger than a smaller orange light. But it's like they kept moving into this area. Never one by itself, always in multiples of 2 or 3. And it's like it seemed like they were looking at me one day. Because I'm walking up, I'm heading for home. I'm 5 blocks away, coming up this hill. And I look up and there's one right above me, you know, and I'm like, wow, you know, that is so cool. It's like the 4th day of seeing them in a row. And it's like, wow, I didn't even make it home and I'm watching them already. It's like, I watched it, the light go from the size of a basketball to the size of a dot and then go out. And immediately, like about probably 4 miles in the sky ahead of me, is light come on, and it grew bigger, and it was way out there then. It just like it went out here and instantly came on there. It was really cool. And then it moved around, and then it moved out of sight. By the time I walked the 4 blocks, I parked the bike in front of the garage and turned around and looked, and I could see it in its position up to the left of me. I could see one in front of me come over the rise of this hill, moving at an angle, coming across sideways. And then behind it, within about probably 5 seconds, another one come out. And it was following the first one in the exact pattern. The way it traveled, it followed it exactly. It moved across the sky, did like a turn, and went back in another angle, like it was zigzagging, doing big zigzag patterns. And that's what it did until it left my view. It was really cool.
Yeah, that was a greeting. When you see 3 like that, that's their way of saying hello. We're friendly, welcome. It's also a sign that they are from the constellation of Orion. So,
Right,
and
yeah.
that's the message that they're trying to give you. They give you that little Orion's belt thing through the middle.
Yeah,
and
actually,
see multiples of more than that, and they're often, they're using like star language as coordinates. First, if there's multiples of them, they're showing you the constellation that they're from, and the three together is a greeting. That's a hello.
And that's
Welcome.
exactly how it looked now that you mentioned it. When I looked up in the sky, there was the 2 equal in height and the one counter down a little bit lower to the right. And now
Yeah, when they get down a little lower to the right, it forms sort of like an oblique triangle, and that's also pointing to the part of the Orion constellation that they're from. So that triangulation and the 3 in the line for the greeting, and that's very common. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's interesting. That's neat. Hi,
Well-
Peter. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's good to meet you, Douglas.
Well, there's a friend of mine in upstate New York. His name's David, and he's got like a hot spot behind his house. He's got backed up he's out in the woods, and he has UFOs come around his house in the woods every night, and they'll drop down an orb, and then the orbs turn into a Sasquatch and run off into the woods. It's
That's
sort of
awesome.
like whatever his clan is right there is his particular clan does work with the ET people, and they take them different places and they do different things. But so he's always having them coming and going right there. So he has the ET people, and then the Sasquatch turn into orbs and then running around. And he's been doing this for years and years. Got pictures, and he's got pictures of big mothership crafts, and he's actually has pictures from inside the craft with a Sasquatch inside the craft. So,
Oh, wow.
there's a big connection there between the star people and the forest people.
Wow. I saw a star person last year, like 8 feet tall. It looked human form, shape wise, very well muscular, build wise. I was watching it where I was watching a group of them walk. I was watching some orbs. I was seeing some in the physical. Then I seen this black silhouette of the star person. But inside that person, it's like I could see a million stars, in him, in his body. It was like I was looking into another universe.
That's what you were.
Yeah. That's exactly what I thought. It's exactly the signal I was getting. I was seeing, and I seen this light. It was almost like a moonlight size wise, but the moon was over here in view, and here this is up in the sky, and these like little dots lit up the same color and brightness as the moon, the light itself, were coming off like sparks, and they were just coming down and going off and swirling in different directions. There was probably like 40 or 50, coming out of this thing while I stood there, and going in every direction. They were just coming out and swirling and going off. And it's like it kept going on. This one lasted like a couple of minutes.
That was definitely it was definitely a teaching for you. I mean, because what this guy's saying is, yeah, the universe is inside you, and we're connected, and that's real powerful. We don't think in terms of teaching like that. You have to sit down and process it. What does that mean? What happened there, and what does it mean to see a being that's got a whole universe inside them? I mean, that's
It was so amazing. That was the best view I've had of a star person my whole life. I've seen them in distances, but not like that. It was so perfectly clear. There was nothing between me and them. It was all open, and it was amazing to see that. I had these girls with me, all 16 years old. The whole time they're there, it's like they would see one. Oh, that's cool. And then right back to their texting. They're sitting in the road of the chairs. Yeah, they're sitting there just texting all their friends, about what's going on, not about what we're doing, but just their normal 16-year-old girl, crap, teenager girls, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at them, and it's like shaking my head. I said, hey, guys, do you see this over here? Oh, that's the moon. I said, hello, the moon's over there. And they look, oh, it is. And then they look up there and see that, and they're like, wow, that's cool. Back to texting, back at it, It's
that's what I'm saying. You got to pay attention to girls, or else you're not going to actually absorb it, because the paranormal is normal, so there's not like it necessarily it's not like a band playing and fireworks. This is normal.
Yeah.
So you got to pay attention to those wild things.
I was laughing though. It's like typical girls, teenage girls, It was funny. It was really funny. I had to laugh. It's like they went and told all their parents about him, It's like now they want me to take them out. Hey, it's like leave the kids at home and take us out. I said, sure, you guys can go next time. I still haven't taken them out, but everybody wants to go. I just don't have the time to take all these people out. I've introduced so many people to them up here. So many.
Yeah, it sounds like dozens, if not like 50 people or something. It's a lot.
I've introduced a lot of people to them up here. I turned so many non-believers into believers, just like that, in one trip out. That's my goal. I just want to educate people. These aren't something that bad that's going to hurt you. It's stalking you in the woods. It's not their intention. I said they're just interested. They want to learn from you what you're doing. They want to know what you're all about. It's like they study you. They like to see how you'll treat and teach your kids and stuff. It's
Well, my information is that the Star Nations really want to land on Earth and make docking stations and repair stations, but they also want to have universities and colleges and healing centers. But the thing is, they don't really want to do it in the big cities. They don't want to come to, light years away from their planet to go hang out in some slum city, So they want to connect with human beings who can translate for them. In other words, people who can do the mind speak thing, and they want to have they want to be able to go out in the country and in the woods and beautiful places and set up camp and and then sort of make the Earth as a galactic outpost. And for that, they need the Sasquatch people. They need the Sasquatch people so that human beings can get used to loving and accepting big, non-human looking beings. And when the humans get to that point where they can, like you're an example of loving and accepting the whole tribes of these big, non-human spiritual beings, right? You accept them, you love them, they're part of your clan. Well, that's what we need on Earth, so that when the ETs come, they're going to come with free energy, and they're going to come with healing centers. They're going to come with educational centers, and this is why you get a lot of blowback. Why the ET people, they don't use money, and they don't have a form of government like we do.
They don't need
And
it.
it's sort of like that puts a kibosh on everything. So the governments are all freaked out. The military's they also don't have a military like we do. So the military is freaked out because, you know, and every time whenever the ETs come or the Sasquatch come, people get upgraded. More love in their heart, more connection to nature, more connection to God, more spirituality, more, you know what I mean? More kindness, more loving people. That's exactly what they don't want. They want to keep everybody in fear and war and separated and, you know, traumatized, you know, so they can control them. But that's, so to me, this is a big deal. You are a big deal because you're that one person who's completely natural and normal and welcoming to the Sasquatch people and to the star people. You know, that's what we need. That's the direction we're going, you know, because we've been here, we've been there before, we got ripped away from it. You know, we've been there before.
I think they talk to you all the time, you know, as you're growing up. That's what I felt. And they, you know, they'll fill your knowledge where you're lacking, where you're thinking like, what's this about? And it's like they'll fill in the voids. I've had that happen to me so many times, and I get it now. If there's something I don't understand, I just search out them for the answers, and immediately usually fills right in. I get answers to stuff I never had a clue about, you know, before. It's just simple things, you know, it could be anything, you know, something everyday life things, you know.
A lot of the downloads are a vast bunch of information that you don't necessarily have right at hand, like as soon as you get it. Sometimes you do, but it's in your memory banks, you know, like and you just kind of have a knowing, and you don't kind of know why, but it's just, you just have a cohesive knowing.
That's exactly what I was describing, and then I immediately was called, "You're a knower now."
Oh, look at that dog. Oh my God. I'm in love. That's the star of the show. That guy.
Yeah, it's like once they know, you know, they tell you you're the knower, you're a knower. It's
Wow.
like you're stage up, and it's like, I understood, you know. It's like, wow. Now it's just completeness. It was like it was completed me. You know what I mean? It just completed me and everything.
That's the most important thing for anybody, is to get that knowing. Like you, I don't envy you. I'm proud of you. But like you, I would like to go up and hug one, sit with one, and have that. And I'm getting that energy again, that experience. But the knowing is the real crux of the biscuit, because that's what, you know. So
it's what warms my heart up the most. It just, I know that I'm understanding what they're trying to tell me, and then it just heats my soul up so much, my heart glow.
Yeah,
I know it's making me shine. You know, it's like I feel
buzzing right now. Oh. Hey, I've got a public announcement to make. Sorry for being so rude, but I have got to go because I could not meet my girlfriend yesterday because it was a monsoon. I've got to go in about 10 minutes tops, but I'm going to, I want to invite the show to continue if you guys want. I can make Mr. Beans the admin guy. Did you want to do that?
I'm not really sure how that would work when you come to shut this thing down.
Well, let's see if it'll work. But
I think this is okay, but I tell you what, Douglas, I think we should just have you come on any time that you feel it, and give us updates, because, you know, like I said, your type and quality of experience is beyond, is just exactly what people need to get now.
Yeah,
that's what I was just feeling about 10-15 minutes ago. Just literally, I was just told that, just come and go when you're needed.
That's right. You're welcome to come and go, and we'll, you're part of Pork and Beans, and you're
I've been watching some of your old episodes, you know, and I just amazed. It's just so many things that I've already known and understood, and hearing some things that I haven't been aware of is just, I love it. I love the experience.
So I've got a question. Who do they love more, pork or beans?
I think they love the idea of the pork and beans.
That's not my question. It was a simple question.
That was the simplest answer they could give me. They didn't want to hurt either of your feelings. They love what you're doing.
I know.
They really love what you're doing. They love your message. That's the thing.
The other thing I wanted to throw out here was about invisible. There's there's a lot of Sasquatch that want to have an invisible, nonverbal connection to human beings. It doesn't have to be mind speak. It doesn't have to be in person. You don't have to go in the woods, and that connection can still be there just as strong. You know, like people like me and Brian, the Sasquatch that I know, they're purposely doesn't want it to be physical. They want it to be totally spiritual. So there's another side of the coin there. So in a way, that's what makes you so rare.
I know they're more comfortable that way. They're more secure when they're in the spiritual form, and they feel vulnerable when they come into the physical form. And
it's way deeper than just this. But Douglas's clans probably feels, because of the area, whatever, they probably feel more comfortable coming out in the physical too.
Secure.
I mean, there's much more to it than that. But I mean,
here,
on a simple, easy to understand level, I mean, it could have something to do with that as well.
And I've seen some have panic attacks because, they allowed us to see them and they didn't know we were even there. And they'll start flipping out. I've seen them start panicking. I said, it's okay. I'm friends with many of your people. It's like, you do not know me. I says, no harm will come to you. We would never harm you. And they just see them relax. They start to run away, and then they slow right down when they hear me speak to them physically. And then it's like, oh, okay. And then they calm down. I see them go from a panic attack to, so not all of them are in tune, See, not everyone there might be in tune with you. Some may be, some might not. Some are off doing their own little thing, and we surprise them, and they don't have, and that happens. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Always give them the benefit of the doubt. If you see one and it's reacting weird, immediately say something that would calm them. Say, don't worry, we mean you no harm, and they'll change. They have to listen to you to understand you.
Yeah.
If you catch them off guard, they panic. I've seen them.
Or guys like you and me and whatever, our intentions are always there. So they're going to know that even without the words. But it's still nice to,
Yes, but not everybody's in that frame of mind.
Yeah, true.
And some people they have other things going, evil thoughts in their mind, and that scares them. What are their evil intentions? What's it all about? Where's it rooted? And so many people, it's like then you have 8 people there, 10 people there. They're listening to multiple people, at the same time, trying to figure everybody all out. It's not an easy task always, You feel the heart and the love the most. That stands out.
We've got 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Don't say that. Say thank you very much. Thank you very much for showing us and talking to us and uplifting us. It was wonderful. And it's about time to end the show.
That's what I want to have 5 minutes of that.
That's what I'm doing. Then you interrupted me. So why don't you take 5 minutes and just wound up with your final
stories I wanted to share with you guys. I'm just gonna make up some notes of different.
Yeah, do that.
Well, that way I'm prepared. I can just go right down. I can see. Oh yeah, this, and this.
Let me just quickly say, the energy I'm feeling in this show is amazing. So you're an amazing person. So we're gonna, we want to have you back. I always say, I just feel like I just scratched the surface. But with you, I feel like we just scratched the surface. So
barely.
We are going to have you back, and when we do have you back, make a checklist or whatever, because
I want to go over so many encounters and interactions.
That's why I try to write out all my experiences or whatever, because I'm fine. I'm forgetting so many of them.
I've had so many.
Then offline, I'll coach you on how to survive the pork and bean show and how to not let Brian bully you, and so you can tell your story. You got to be forceful.
This is my show. It's all about me, Beans.
I know.
I can't show up.
We already know everything about you. We don't know anything about Mr. Retzer.
Okay, so I'll tell you what. We've got 3 or 4 minutes. So, Mr. Retzer, you are coming back. We're gonna drag you in if we have to, but give us a 2-minute little closing kind of love message from the Sasquatch people or from your heart.
Okay, we're all the same. We're all the same. That's their number one. We're all the same. It's so simple. They live there, we live here. They travel between groups looking for mates, just like we travel all over looking for mates. There's no difference. We are no different. The only difference
My
is
girlfriend's
we
listening.
all
Don't
look
say that.
different. We all look different, but we're all the same. Just remember,
Yeah.
we're all the same. Treat everybody as if you want to be treated, and don't be afraid. Fear is what drags you down. When you conquer fear, you've conquered almost everything. You know, once
Yeah.
that fear is behind you, everything else is gravy. It's simple. You know, remember to lose the fear. That's what binds you to the earth and binds you to the world is the fear. Because fear, it's not meant to be something that you should carry with you at all. It's only there to save your life in times of need and make you aware that there's a danger out there. That's what fear is for. But an immediate danger, not something that's in your head like, oh no, they're gonna rip my head off if I see one. They're, you know, that's you're putting images and things into their heads. You know, it's like, remember, they know everything you think. And something you should always remember, be careful what you wish for. You know, because you might just get it. Are you going to be able to handle what you wish for? Think about that. Make sure you're ready when you ask them to make that step.
Yeah.
You know, because you can make a quick step backwards in a hurry if you're not prepared. Remember, lose the fear. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If you're ready to lose that fear, really lose it. I had some guys come from Brooklyn down and said, yeah, we won't be afraid. They were petrified. I walked into the woods in the pitch black, no light, and he started screaming like a girl, come back, come back. They kept throwing rocks at him. They weren't hitting them. They were hitting a tree beside him just over and over. And I said, they were laughing at him doing it because they were being so scared of them. They thought they were funny. So they used that to their advantage for a laugh.
Yeah, I guess some of us have had past life subconscious memories or whatever, because some people like myself, right from the beginning, when that happens, it's wonder and it's hello. I'm so happy. You know, there isn't the fear. It's just like a wonder and an acceptance. So I just want to, yeah, I really hate to cut this short. I could go on for another 2 hours, but we are going to have you on again. Your message resonates with my heart. Like, you know, we feel like kindred spirits or whatever, or the same mindset, same heart set. Probably heart set's more of an accurate word. And I really appreciate you being on the show today. And you will come back, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well,
next Thursday's your next day.
Well, we've got people
your
for the
Thursday,
next couple
Friday,
of weeks.
And Saturday, right?
Yeah, we've got people for the next couple of weeks, but we'll have you on within a month. Okay, you will be the next person we book back in for part 2. Sound like a deal?
Sounds good.
Yeah, and Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. Yeah, so we'll work out a good one.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Beans, for showing up. Thank you, Mr. Choppa, for you know, sitting in and gracing us with your good energy and your friendship. And
yeah, thanks for the love tonight, guys. I really enjoyed that, and I'm sucking it all up. So it was very welcome tonight.
Like bread in the sauce, the gravy. You're sucking it all up, all the nutrients.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks to all the Sasquatch people, the ET people.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Well, this was an amazing show.
Remember, don't go shooting Sasquatch. Don't let the black ops people do it or police people do it. You know, there's other ways of dealing with it. You can get a psychic out there to talk to them and straighten things out.
Yeah, well, they're not interested in straightening things out. That's the problem.
Yes, well, quit saying that. Yes, they are. You're here to teach, not to deny.
Remember, you can talk to them too.
Okay. Yeah, I've been lectured by the incredible Mr. Beans and also the world's handsomest man. Thanks for the reminder, Mr. Beans. Appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. People
then
can
Michael.
learn. People can change. The world's changing, so maybe the bad, nasty military guys can change.
So on behalf of myself, Pork Cunningham, and the world's handsomest man, Frank Oliver Beans, this is the Pork and Beans Show, and God bless or universally bless all of you guys, and keep doing what you're doing.
History in the making. Pork and Beans bring you history in the making.
Oh, now I got to get that spinning globe going right after that, and the edit.
Hey, listen, you're pulled between your love for Sasquatch and your love for your girlfriend. You know, I understand that the you know the struggle is real.
Yeah, and it's going to be a real struggle, and she's a tough one to handle. So I got to get going, guys. See you next time.
Praying
Paul
for you,
Lurcher
brother.
says show gets better
you
and better.
guys.
Jinder Lockwood says awesome.
Peace, guys. Love you all.
Susan
Cindy
Funkhauser
Diamond.
says it's time to end the show and get on your road. Oh, she didn't say that. I said that.
Okay, see you guys.
See you later. Adios.
Porky.
Yeah, you don't have your mic. You don't have your. You don't have your Ed. You don't have your sound on. No sound. No sound.
One taste of Campbell's home-style pork and beans and you'll think of home.
Bemidji, Minnesota.
Because we've added all those great home-style things. Rich red ketchup, chopped onion, bits of smoky bacon, molasses, just like they do back home.
Pinckneyville, Illinois.
Wherever that may be.
Coalwood, West Virginia.
He blesses the boys as they stand in line. The smell of gun grease and their bayonets they shine. He's there to help them all that he can. To make them feel wanted, he's a good holy man. Just tells them it's all right. He knows of their fear in the forthcoming fight. Soon there'll be blood and many will die. Mothers and fathers back home they will cry. Sky pilot, sky. With a smile, the order is given, they move down the line, but he's still behind and he'll meditate, but it won't stop the bleeding or ease the hate. As the young men move out into the battle zone, he feels good, with God you're never alone. He feels so tired and he lays on his bed. Most the men will find courage in the words that he said. Sky pilot, sky
6 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
How about some more beans, Mr. Taggart? I'd say you've had enough.